Case number 3033, Helmanen versus Allen. All parties, please step forward.
Mary Helmanen is suing her ex-boyfriend, Lamar Allen, for the balance of a cosmetic dental loan.
Pronounce your last name.
Helmanen.
Mr. Allen was your boyfriend for a period of time?
Yes.
Doesn't appear to be a long period of time, relatively short period of time. I think if my memory is correct, you met him in October online.
Yes.
And by December, you were planning a trip to Colombia in order to have dental work done there, cosmetic dental work done.
Yes.
You suggested, according to what I've read, that he join you.
Yeah.
Would it be fair to say that at some point you said to him, you're really not comfortable traveling to South America by yourself?
Yes.
And that you would feel more comfortable if he came with you?
Yes.
At the time, in October, November, and December of last year, what kind of work were you doing?
I'm a nurse practitioner.
How long have you been doing that?
Since 2017.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a firefighter.
Now, Mr. Allen, I'm going to come to you. The plaintiff, a very lovely-looking lady, wanted to get laminates. Laminates?
Porcelain.
Porcelain. Perfect. I come from a long line of dentists.
Okay.
I was very bad in biology and chemistry, so I went to law school. Mr. Allen.
Yes.
You have very nice teeth.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Who paid for them?
Mary did.
So, Mr. Allen, what I want you to do is explain to me, I understand that the plaintiff was going to Colombia to get her dental work done because it was cheaper there. And that you were short-term then boyfriend, which is over now, I assume.
Yes, correct.
I want you to tell me how it came about that you went to Colombia with her and got your teeth done.
Okay. Never thought my teeth was an issue as far as us dating. Then we got there to Colombia.
So you didn't discuss your teeth being done before you got to Colombia?
Correct.
You're kidding me.
Correct.
You were just going to go. Who booked the tickets?
Mary did.
Who paid for them?
Mary did.
Who booked the hotel?
Mary did.
Who paid for the hotel?
Mary did.
We did talk about it before.
Shh, just a minute. Mr. Allen, I want you to be very, very careful with me because I read her complaint and I read your answer. And the complaint suggested that you had a price for your teeth
Yes.
before you got there.
Yes.
Well, if you had a price for your dental work, cosmetic dental work, before you got there, you had to have had some discussion about paying for it.
Yes.
Yes. Well, tell me what that discussion was.
After she brought it up, then I researched for us, like sending them information for us with my teeth for us, like how much.
Okay,
it
so
would be.
when you researched it, she gave you the name of the
people
people
dental.
she was going
Correct.
to see in Colombia.
I was writing them back and forth through
How are you writing?
Instagram. They had a page.
Okay, so who was writing them? You were writing
Yes,
them.
correct.
Okay, so then it's a fair statement that you had a price from them before you went there.
Yes.
Now, how much was your dental work?
4,200.
Ultimately, how much was your dental work?
Came to 8,000.
How much were you quoted before in this back and forth Instagram that you were doing? How much were you quoted?
It was roughly around 6,000 they quoted me.
Let me see.
I don't have it with me.
Why not? Where did you think you were going today?
Mary Helmanen claims her ex-boyfriend, Lamar Allen, owes for the balance of a cosmetic dental loan.
I'd like to see any evidence that you have.
I
have
do.
Nothing. What is that you're showing
So
me?
I have the credit card information.
I don't
of
need
me
the credit
paying.
card information. You paid for him.
Right.
And you paid for him in December of 2022.
Yes.
You paid for him to go, you paid for his... I want to see something from December of 2022 or January or February. Now, when did you break up?
We broke up in December.
In December, when you came back?
Yes.
Okay, something either in December, January, or February where you ask him for the money that you claim that he owes you. Show me.
Okay.
Text message.
I have a lot of that.
Good. I'd like to see him.
Okay.
Thank you.
The dates are on the top.
Shh. Yes, I'm definitely going to pay you back. I'm not going to leave you hanging, especially not owing $8,000. Seriously. Is that what you wrote to her?
Yes. I said I was gonna pay you the difference.
No, that's not what you say here.
I know, but I
That's not what
said that during just get off my back for our site.
She says, take out a personal loan. You say, I'm definitely not going to do that.
Correct.
I'll start paying you off.
Correct.
Or I'll start paying the credit card off. She said, I paid the credit card off. Yes, I'm definitely going to pay you back. I'm not going to leave you with $8,000. Well, then start. I'm not playing your games. I did you a favor. What's a Meeks?
Oh, it's my dog.
So your dog got lost.
Yeah.
And that was your priority in February.
Yeah, of course. My dog was.
And 20 weeks from November, that's when you told me, so hopefully it'll be April, and April 19th, so that's when you told her you would be able to pay her back.
Yeah, because I always gave him the date.
I don't care. Well, there's no question based on this, sir, that you agreed to pay her back $8,000, which is what your dental bill was.
At first, I didn't want to get him done when I got there.
What?
I said I did not want to get him done when I got there. After they said the price was different, I told her no. I said I'm not going to do it. Like I'm not going to make you pay that much. So I told her no.
Not in these emails. You got the teeth, she got the bill.
I told her not to do it when it happened.
You had to go like this. Look at me. You had to go like this.
No, she agreed. She said, she said I'll pay for him. She said, well, we're already here. I'll pay for him. I said, no, I don't want to do it. It's too much money. So I said no.
Listen to me. You said no. You had to go like this.
But she said I'd do it. She's like, oh, well, I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it. Just pay me whenever you get your money. So I grew up paying the difference, which is $3,000. Like I'm not gonna pay her the whole eight grand.
She may have found you adorable. Other people may find you adorable. Me, not so much, maybe because I'm old. You told her you were going to give her back the $8,000 that it costs to do your teeth. You told her that in February. You said, I'm going to give it back to you. I'm just waiting for my refund check from the IRS. Then it was your dog that got lost. Did you ever find your dog?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's good. I'm happy for you.
Appreciate it.
And I'm happy for you that you have nice new teeth and that you have a nice smile. You owe her $8,000. Did you have a nice trip to Colombia? She flew you there. She put you up in a hotel. I don't know who paid for the meals.
I paid for the meals. I paid for everything prior to that, and after that, like, I was paying it back, and because we're together, we're a couple.
Yes, then you were a couple. Now you're not a couple anymore. Someone else is going to look at those pearlies and say, I love you. Do you understand? You have to pay for that. You know, you have to pay for that. You're a responsible man. You have a responsible job. Take care of yourself. That's what you're supposed to do. No. If you let a woman take care of you,
no woman
take care of if you let a woman take care of you, you're not taking care of yourself. You're a big, strong guy, and you told her you were going to pay her. That's what you did. So you got to pay her, Mr. Allen. You have to stop being a big baby. You have to pay her. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $8,000. We're done. Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
I said no one was there. We was like, well, I just paid you the difference, not the whole full amount.
I'm happy with her decision. It was fair.
She said, well, I paid for it. It'll be a gift for you. So I was like, okay, well, then I'll do it.
I would have never given him $8,000 for free.
I guess everything changes when you break up.
I was really patient with him in paying me back, and I've never seen a cent.
Don't trust women.
He's got his teeth forever, you know?
I got a great smile, so I guess it's okay.
I'm not going to buy anyone teeth.
I think it's always risky to go to another country for any medical procedure. I mean, I'm familiar with U.S. laws, not so familiar with Colombia or anywhere else, or the guarantees for any sort of health procedure. I mean, worst case scenario, you don't come home. Best case scenario, you have cheap dental work. So
or cheap cosmetic.
Exactly, any type of surgery.
Yeah,
but it's always a risk in multiple forums, in your health, in your payment of money to another country that you're unfamiliar with their entire banking systems and how that works. It seems very complicated.
Very complicated. And I don't know if you remember, recently, a group of women went to Mexico. One of them went to have some cosmetic procedure, and it was dangerous there.
Yeah.
And one of them ended up not coming home.
Exactly. At the end of the day, he has the teeth.
At the end of the day, he has
She has the
teeth.
credit card bill.
Now, at least she's repaid. And I understand why some people, with the cost of medical cosmetic work here in the United States, would feel compelled to look somewhere to get it done cheaper. And, you know, most people who have any kind of cosmetic work done, whether it be dental or otherwise, interview the doctor or dentist before, have consultations. There you're just going and saying, here I am,
It's
fix
risky.
me. And I think that that's a very risky thing to do, although his teeth look terrific. you had this disagreement?
Her son was playing with the dog. He kind of sit next to me and he was playing with some slime. And I'm like, what is that? He said, Daisy busted the ball. I said, give me that ball. And it was my breast implant.
You kept your old breast implants.
Absolutely.
Why?
Why not? I mean...
This is Judy Justice. Naomi Jackson is suing her former roommate, Gianna Rodriguez, for property damage caused by Gianna's 5-year-old son.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3083, Jackson versus Rodriguez.
Thank you. Miss Jackson, you have your own home?
I do.
You own the home or rent it?
I own it.
You have a mortgage?
No.
You and the defendant met, you became friends, and you invited her and her 5-year-old child, who she shares custody with the father, to live with you and share expenses.
Yeah.
When did you do that?
She was a tenant of mine, is how we met. That was 2 years ago, back in 22. And it was her boyfriend that I rented to. Okay, about
That's not that
2022.
far afield.
She wanted to move out of where she was living because school's got to start. And I said, well, why don't you come live with me? I have a 6-bedroom house. I live by myself. So I said, well, why don't you come live with me? So it's spread the moment.
When did she come to live with you?
2022, January, February?
No, it was...
Shh. In 2022, the beginning of 2022?
23, sorry.
23?
Yes. 22 when she was a tenant.
No, 23, she came to live with you.
With me, correct.
And where are you living now?
I now live with my cousin somewhere else.
Since when?
Since June.
Is that when you had this disagreement?
Yeah, when we got into the argument. And I told her
Okay.
that I was going
And
to...
this is what you got into an argument about. Now, Ms. Jackson, it is your claim that the defendant's 5-year-old, who she was not supervising adequately, got into your bedroom, and in your closet you kept your old breast implants, ones that you had removed because you got different ones.
Correct.
And you kept them for no particular reason. You weren't using them again. It's a sentimental reason that you kept the breast implants. And it is your claim that her son got into the room,
He wasn't...
got into the box where you kept them, took it and was playing with it with
Catch
the
with the
dog.
dog.
With the dog, and they were destroyed.
Correct.
Okay, and you want her to pay for the breast implants.
Absolutely.
Why?
Because why not? I mean, they were my breast implants. That was my property.
Yeah. How much did you pay for them?
The time when I did that surgery,
Yes.
I paid $3,500. But I
Okay,
paid
just a
by
minute.
surgery to get them taken out. I paid $4,000.
No, but you
the new ones
pay-
put in.
I'm just talking. I don't care taking them out. That has no relevance to this whatsoever. So you paid $3,500 for them. When? What year?
I did them back in 2000. So those silicone I did back in 2012.
Okay. So now they're teenagers.
Who's teenager? Oh,
The breast implants.
yes.
With,
No, I had it for 7 years.
So you replaced them after 7 years. So you replaced them in 2019.
Yes, the current ones I have now, I got those taken
Just
out.
a second.
2019.
So you replaced them in 2019.
Yes.
And you want the original cost of them.
Sure.
Okay, well, you don't get that. Now, you want to tell me this incident happened in June. Let's just be quick about it, please, because I have other things to do today. You heard some
It's not like
noise.
the value you said the original cost. It's not like the value of them went down. If anything, it's higher to get them replaced, the silicone implant.
Sound ridiculous. It was in June of this year that this incident occurred?
It happened in May.
23.
Okay. And you heard some noise, and when you looked outside, when you looked in the house, you found her son playing with your dog?
I was sitting down watching TV.
And?
Behind me, her son was playing with the dog. He kind of sit next to me, and he was playing with some slime. And I'm like, what is that? I didn't want it on the couch. So I said, what is that? He said, Daisy busted the ball. I said, give me that ball, because like I said, I didn't want it all over the place, all over the couch. And it was my breast implant.
Okay. And where had they been?
They were in my closet in a medical sealed bag.
Okay. Now, did Miss Jackson tell you about what happened that
she
day?
never once, Your Honor, mentioned that she had silicones in a bag. Not to mention that they were in a closet reachable for a 5-year-old child to get to.
My closet.
Plus,
my closet.
no, And plus, my dog is there too. Not to mention, if they busted, because something could have happened to him.
That's a shoulda, woulda, coulda. There isn't a question, Miss Rodriguez, in your mind that due to your 5-year-old's actions, she lost a piece of her property.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So now we have to put a value on that piece of property, which is not $3,500. So you kept these breast implants, which you cannot use again because they can't be used again. You kept them for sentimental reasons.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And they can't be replaced for sentimental reasons. Once they're gone, correct? Once they're gone, they're gone. I mean, if sentimental, you can't reuse them. You can't resell them. They are of no...
Resell them. I mean, I could probably reuse them if I wanted to.
Oh, I don't think you can.
And later today, Naomi Jackson is accusing her former roommate, Gianna Rodriguez, of refusing to pay for her old breast implants after Gianna's 5-year-old son destroyed them.
Now, you can't reuse them. You can't sell them. You can't turn them back to the manufacturer.
I paid for them.
I understand that you paid for them. Let's say you had a car and the car was unusable, but you had gotten it from a parent, from an old boyfriend, from somebody, so you kept it in the garage. It couldn't be sold. It couldn't be driven. You kept it because you liked to look at it. And let's say her son, instead of your breast implants, got into the car and got bubble gum on the seat. Is he going to pay for the car? It's unusable. It's undrivable. It's incapable of being traded, negotiated for anything. It may have sentimental reason for you, but it has no extrinsic value to anybody else. So what do you think you're entitled to for losing?
Well, it has value to everything else, but it has value to me, and it cost me money to get it. Okay. So I don't agree with just like...
Very good.
So just let it
Very
go.
good. Your son should not have destroyed her property. Do you understand?
Correct.
Whether it was negligence on your part for not watching the 5-year-old, I don't know. You don't keep an eye on a 5-year-old all the time. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1. Thank you very much. We're done.
This court is adjourned.
$1? I paid $4,000 for my breast implants. $1?
I am happy today. I am thankful that it was in my favor for the dollar.
So I can go bust people's implants and don't have to pay for it?
I'm pretty sure it was silicone, and that's toxic. It's poisonous. So I'm just thankful that my dog and my child wasn't harmed.
I'm very upset.
Well, she was pretty upset.
$1 for my breast implants? I paid $4,000? I'm very angry.
If you left them in the closet, it's like a pair of shoes in the closet. They're just sitting there waiting to be played with.
Ridiculous. All right. He was in need of a loan.
Yes.
I was telling her, you gave me this as a gift.
Can I play a voicemail, please?
Absolutely.
And I don't owe you a goddamn dime, you stink ass motherfucker.
Aren't you embarrassed?
Not really.
You have a nasty potty mouth.
This is Judy Justice. Bonita Roberts is suing her former friend, Kevin Byrd, for a loan, harassment, and personal threats.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Judge, case 3113, Robert versus Byrd.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Roberts, you and Mr. Byrd became friends because you were living in the same community.
Yes.
And according to your complaint, the defendant at some point told you that he was in need of a loan.
Yes.
And you made that loan to him. And what was the amount of that loan?
It was $190.
And he paid you back?
No.
Well, according to your complaint, you had, in fact, loaned him money in the past, and he had paid you back.
Yes, he did.
Okay, and that was $2,000.
Yep, $2,000 one time, $300 another.
And then there came a time in December of last year when Mr. Byrd again said that his account was a little overdrawn.
Yes.
And he asked you if you could loan him that money.
Yes, and he would pay me back the following day.
And you did.
Yes, I sent him $190 through Zelle.
And you, as a matter of fact, acknowledged that she did, in fact, give you $190.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that $190 you have not given back to her.
No, Your Honor.
So now I don't know what you guys are drinking, but now you're each suing each other for $10,000. You want money owed for repayment of the loan, that's $190. And the rest for harassment and threats of bodily harm.
And defamation of character.
No, that's not in here. That's in your fantasy world. So let's start with this, Mr. Byrd. She gave you $190.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why didn't you give it back to her?
Because it was a gift.
Did you ever give her a gift that was worth $190?
Yes, Your Honor.
Like what?
I'd take her to dinner at the steakhouse. I would buy the dinners. It would be well over $300.
How many times did you do that?
We went to the steakhouse a couple of times.
Okay. Tell me about the phone call that you made to her indicating your account was overdrawn.
Yeah, I called her up. I was trying to get a payday loan. I called her from the payday lender place and told her I needed $190.
And what did she say to you?
She said, okay, I'll send it to you by Zelle.
Okay. Did she tell you when she needed it back?
No, she didn't.
Okay. Now, at some point, she started to ask you for this money, this $190. When was that?
I think it was sometime around Christmas, I believe.
And what did you tell her?
I didn't really tell her anything. I was just kind of like ignoring her, you know, because I'm
well,
like...
she was asking you, when can I have my $190 back, and you were ignoring her.
Yeah, I'm like, this was a gift. I was telling her, you know, you gave me this as a gift.
Okay. Well, a gift is something that you usually buy or give to somebody without being asked. You actually called her and asked her for the money.
Correct.
You know, that would be like Sarah saying to me, I want this particular bag and I don't have money for it right now. Can you send it to me? And I send her the money, and then she's, well, that was a gift because you sent it. I mean, she's done that, but not exactly. Okay, so we have $190. Now, I want you to get from $190, Miss Roberts, to $10,000, and I want you to get there in 3 minutes or less.
Can I play a voicemail, please?
Absolutely, and this is going to be a $9,810
yes.
voicemail.
This is the first voicemail.
Hey, I got your phone call. Don't call me before 12 o'clock in the afternoon anymore, bitch. Like you, I don't work. I'm fully retired. And furthermore, you were calling me about your mother $200. Well, I just wanted to let you know you got your $200 worth on Christmas Day when you hurt my dog and you hurt me. I'm not giving you a dime. So you can kiss my ass, get the out of my life. The way you treated me on Christmas, the way you tried to humiliate me, the only thing you did was you lost your $200 and you lost a friend. I trusted you. And all of a sudden, you went rogue, psycho, mother bitch on me.
Okay. I already told you, you have your $190 and he has a bad potty mouth.
Okay.
So after you got that message from him and he told you, you're out of my life, whatever it was, you had some sort of a bad Christmas, don't call me anymore, I don't want to know from you anymore, you did something, you humiliated me, you hurt my dog, leave me alone, get out of my life. What did you do?
I didn't do anything because I kept getting voicemail.
Just a second. So you didn't contact him again?
I sent an email saying how hurt I was,
just
but
a second.
I didn't call him, no.
Well, do you have the email?
Yeah, I do.
I'd like to see it. So you sent him an email after you got this message. May I see? You have it written?
Yes.
I'd like to see it. Okay. This is a very nice email, Mr. Byrd. So far, it's a very nice email. I'm going to read it out loud. It said, just so you can hear how ridiculous you get when you're inebriated. I really pray that you get some help. This has to stop. I have only been a good person to and for you, and you turn around and say these nasty things to me because you don't want to pay me back. I've always been there for you whenever you were in need, loaning you money when you need it. For you to make up a bunch of lies, it truly breaks my heart. And I feel so sorry for you, but I will pray that God helps you get a peaceful, calm space where you don't require liquid courage and possibly keep one good person around you. And she doesn't say anything nasty to you in this email, sir. It says, I will see you in court because I'm not going to allow you to steal money from me. I really thought we were friends. Body. Lovely, lovely email. if I got that message from you, sir, I would not have sent you this, except she probably knows that you're a drunk and that she felt sorry for you. On Christmas Day, did you go out and buy yourself a little pint of vodka?
Yes, I did.
And bring it, but
pint.
shut.
Sorry.
Does it look like I need help from you?
You don't.
Oh, okay, good.
Bonita Roberts claims her former friend, Kevin Byrd, refuses to pay back a loan and harassed her. Kevin is countersuing Bonita for filing a false restraining order and emotional distress.
So what you did was nasty. What you did was nasty. Now, it may have clouded your judgment that you did have liquid courage. I don't know what you needed courage from. She wasn't doing anything bad to you. Okay, so far, that's not worth a nickel. That. It's just a bad potty mouth. You knew he was drunk. He said, I feel sorry for you, but I'm going to take you to court. You already won your $190.
Okay.
Okay? We're getting to $10,000. Now, you say that he threatened you.
He did.
And it's on a voicemail.
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to hear the threatening one so far.
Okay.
It's just
I'll play
potty
this.
mouth.
First of all, can I just, a little backstory? I had knee surgery. He threatened to harm my knees.
Okay, I'm
When
listening.
I asked for the money back. And this is what really bothered me.
I just got the notice from Wells Fargo of you begging for $190. I'm going to call Wells Fargo and I'm going to let them know that I don't owe you a dime, you broke-ass bitch. And you better keep your communication with me either by phone or by email. Because if you ever show up at my house, God help you. I'm going straight for the knees.
Okay, got it. Aren't you embarrassed?
No, Your Honor, Miss Roberts started needling me about not being around her, ignoring her calls after I got the loan, which I didn't. I was actually in the hospital after I suffered 3 incidents of cardiac arrest on July the 22nd.
Listen to me.
He's lying.
Shh. You should be embarrassed by those phone messages that you left her while you were drunk. And if you tell me you weren't drunk, that's twice as bad. You understand? That's not the kind of communication that a grown-up adult has with another grown-up adult, especially when you get this kind of an email in response.
Well, in that email,
just a second.
In that email, she stated that I could barely take care of myself.
Well, clearly you can't. If she said it, it's true.
No, it's not true.
Yes, it's true.
Well, she's...
Mr. Byrd,
It's very
Mr.
true.
Shh. Okay, so they're nasty messages. She knows that when you left those messages, you were drunk. You know that, correct?
Yes, I do.
And you know that he said, don't ever come to his house, because if you come to his house, he's going right for the knees.
And I was very vulnerable because I had just had surgery.
I get it. You weren't going to his house either.
I wasn't.
Okay. But at some point, you filed for protective order against
did.
him. And that's his counterclaim for $10,000,
Right.
that you filed for a protective order against him, and that was ultimately dismissed.
Yes.
As I would dismiss it if I were hearing this application for a protective order. In any event, I don't like the messages that you sent to her, so your counterclaim's dismissed. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you can't hold your liquor, don't drink. If you're retired and you sleep until noon because you're drunk every day, that's not a smart thing for you. And if you've been in the hospital because of cardiac arrest, it's twice as not smart for you, right?
Right.
Yeah, right, unless you can't stop. If you can't stop, check into Betty Ford. Judgment for the plaintiff, and I'm awarding you $500 because I wouldn't like to listen to those messages either. $190 for what he owes you, and the rest is because you have a nasty potty mouth. We're done here. Thank you.
Well, she
Court is adjourned.
should have stopped calling me. She sees me buying a bottle of vodka, and she gets an attitude like, you owe me $190, but you gonna buy vodka?
I'm happy. I got what I wanted. I just wanted my money back.
I think she was taking advantage of me because of my medical condition.
What? What would I take advantage of from him? He has nothing.
I had told her before I made those messages to leave me alone, but she continued to call me.
Nothing. He's a thing of the past for me.
Just find it so ironic that in all of those potty-mouthed messages where he's calling her a broke-ass bitch, he couldn't afford the $190 overdraft fee on his own account. So it's just, you know.
That's funny. She was a nice lady.
She was, and I think she expected him to pay her back, and he's just a drunk
he's
who
just
had
an
no
old
intention of paying her back.
There's an incident of road rage.
That was where he hit the side of my hand.
You threw something at it.
My driver's side window shattered. He purposely swerved towards me to hit me.
I don't think so.
This is Judy Justice. Christopher Stewart is suing fellow motorist Derek DeWitt for the cost of a broken car window and emotional distress.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Case 3040, Stewart versus DeWitt.
Thank you. Okay. Wife?
No.
Girlfriend?
Yes,
Were you in the car that day?
I was.
Great. Did you go crazy?
Well, it was my brand new car, so yes.
Yeah. Okay. So he was driving your car?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Stewart, you are suing the defendant because it is your claim that he smashed your car window during what is an incident of road rage, a little bit on both sides, perhaps. Why don't you tell me when this happened?
So it was Halloween of last year.
What time?
I believe around 5:30-ish.
Tell me where you were.
I was at the Costco parking lot is when it started, and it ended basically on the street just outside of the parking lot.
Okay, so is this a visual of where the incident occurred?
Correct.
Just so I get an overall picture before you start your testimony, would you approach the map and show me where you first connected with the defendant?
Here, actually. This is just at the exit of the parking lot.
You're both waiting to exit the parking lot.
Correct.
And where were you positioned as opposed to the defendant? Were you in front of him or behind him?
In the parking lot, I was in front of him.
And then what happened?
He goes around me to get in front of me and honks at me. We both end up at a red light.
So he went around you?
Correct.
Were you doing something that delayed you from exiting the parking lot?
No, I was not slowing at all. I was going the 15 miles an hour.
So he just scooted around you?
Correct.
Is that right, sir?
No, ma'am. The incident started at the stoplight.
He says that something happened, there was some interaction as you were both leaving the Costco parking lot. And I have to believe that, sir, because you were both leaving the Costco parking lot.
Correct.
And if you didn't notice him for some reason, I don't know why, but he noticed you. So there's a lot of cars here in traffic. So it would be too serendipitous for me to have to assume that he's making that up, that he didn't see you exiting the Costco parking lot.
Ma'am, that might have very well been the case. I did not realize or notice his car until we got tapped at the intersection.
Okay. Now you're both outside. And who was first?
His car is in front of mine.
Okay, and that's at the stoplight.
Yes.
And the light changes color.
Correct.
And he did not move.
Correct.
So now tell me what you did.
Sure. So I honked at him. I inched closer to him, hoping that he would see me. And then I had a collision with his car, like a fender bender.
Then you hit his car.
Correct.
Okay, now you can go back. Thank you. Okay, so now you hit the bumper of his car. So far, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did you do next?
I slightly reversed so that I wouldn't be near his car. What I did next was I stayed in my car. I saw him and his passenger get out. I didn't leave my car because I didn't want to get out in the intersection. And then the passenger took a photo of my car, the front. He approached my car. Frankly, he was staring me down.
He was what?
Staring me down like this. And I did not feel safe, so I rolled up my window. He banged on it at that point, so I decided that I was going to, I didn't feel comfortable having him near me, so I decided to reverse.
How do you reverse if there are cars behind you?
Those cars began to go around everything and U-turn.
Okay.
I was going to go in the parking lot, and as I reversed to go back into the Costco parking lot, he, again staring me down this whole time, went into the street to block my way. And he had his phone in his hand, but he was searching for something in his pockets. At that moment, I decided that I was going to leave because he was not interested in taking a photo of my car. He was looking for something, and he was staring me down this whole time.
Well, usually when you have an accident, Mr. Stewart, and this was either an accident or an on purpose that you hit his car. I don't know what, because his car was standing still. You had already had, according to you, an aggressive interchange with him when he exited the parking lot. And what would seem logical is that if he honked you as he was moving out, and then he got in front of you, and the light changed and he didn't go, in your mind, you might say, well, he's going to wait until the light turns yellow and then he's going to turn because I was evidently holding him up at the parking lot. Did that go through your mind?
I did believe that he was trying to punish me in some way.
You did believe?
Yes, I did.
Of course. Go around me, you honk the horn, now you're in front of me, we're both going to make a turn, and you're going to inconvenience me because it's a tit for tat. But the reaction to that isn't to hit his car.
I had no intention of hitting his car.
Well, but you did. His car was standing still, and you were inching towards him. If you were inching towards him at some point, what kind of car were you driving?
A Tesla Model S.
A Tesla. What year?
2022.
Okay. So you know that that has those bing, 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 bing if you get too close to a car, right? So your car is bing, 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 and all of a sudden it's going bing because you're really close. So you know all of that. So this is hardly an accident. You hit his car more of an on purpose. You may not have intended to do damage, but you hit his car, whether negligently or on purpose. The first thing that you do when you have an accident is you get out of your car and you exchange information, because I don't know if your car was damaged. I assume his car was damaged because your insurance company settled with him for the damage, which means your insurance found that you were at fault, at least with regard to the damage.
Yes.
But the first thing that you do is you exchange information. Now, it's a road rage situation, so I can sort of understand why, having just hit him, sort of on purpose, and he getting out of the car, you would feel slightly intimidated. Did you take a picture of his car?
I did.
And you have a picture of his license plate?
Yes.
So what you do after that, you call the police and say, there's just been a hit and run. He hit my car, he took off, I have his license plate, can you run it for me and find out who he is? And they go and they'll find him and they'll arrest him for 12 hours or something till he gives them his insurance information. In any event, now you pull up your window and proceed to take off, and he blocks your way. And then what happened?
So whatever he was looking for in his pockets, he found, because as I was driving around him, I hear a ping on my car, very loud.
Where?
In the back driver's side.
And then what happened?
So I'm in full flight mode at this point and not thinking about really what to do. So I do what I was going to do, which is a U-turn. That puts me back in his path because he goes into the oncoming traffic and stops it. That's the blue, yes. And so he stops the traffic. And again, I'm just driving forward, so I don't see this happen. But as I'm driving past him, my driver's side window shatters. And you can't really see out of it at this point because it's just a spider web. I leave and later get a phone call from the police. They tell me that Mr. DeWitt had called them and they want me to come back to the scene. And frankly, I refuse because I was too scared. I didn't want to be in the presence of Mr. DeWitt again.
Well, just a second. Police called you and gave you a direction to return to the scene, and they're there at the scene. So what did you do? You just ignored them?
No, I told them that I didn't want to, and they agreed to have the officer come back to where I was. I didn't feel safe.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Christopher Stewart claims fellow motorist Derek DeWitt broke his Tesla window during a road rage incident and caused him emotional distress.
Now, I don't buy that you didn't feel safe, sir. You may not have felt safe if he told you to come back to the scene, but if police officers are on scene and they tell you, please come back to the scene, then that's what you do. You come back to the scene.
The officer did come visit me, and he told me...
You can't tell me what he told you. That's hearsay. You have a police report, I'll look at it.
Yeah, I do have a police report.
I'd like to look at it.
Okay.
Okay, so I see the police report, and the police report is relatively consistent with what you testified to today. The police report refers to a video, which I assume that the police officer watched. Is that correct?
I showed it to him.
After the taking information, the police officer determined that there was felony vandalism with regard to breaking his car window. I know that you're going to have a different story for me, I assume.
Okay.
Well, he has a video of exactly what happened. So now I would like you to tell me your version of what happened. You're standing at the red light, and would you go over to the map and show me where you were?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. We were sitting first car here in the turn lane. He was behind us. We felt a tap. We were trying to, so we had a Halloween party to go to. So she had a new car, and you can't put an address into the navigation system unless it's in park. So we put it in park, and we were putting in the address. Apparently the light turned green. We heard him honk. I waved.
It's all becoming clearer.
Yes.
Okay. So you know you were going to a Halloween party. You were in Costco. I assume you were shopping in Costco?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But going to the Halloween party wasn't a surprise.
No, ma'am.
That's where you were going. So
Yes, ma'am.
we could have put the address of where you were going in at the parking lot.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you didn't do that. Now you're at a light with cars behind you. You had to put the car in park. Are you reading him the address?
Yes.
Yeah. Could you stand up for 1 second? I'm just interested. Did you suggest to him that he put the address in the parking lot?
We didn't think about it at the moment, at that time.
Well, you see, I would have said to my husband, you are here in the parking lot. Let's put the address in the parking lot, which he would have said, don't tell me what to do. When we're out of the parking lot, I'll put it in. Well, that's sort of ridiculous because now you're annoying other people because everybody's looking to make a left turn. Your car is in park and you're doing something else. I'm not excusing the fact that he hit your car at all because it was aggressive, but it's frustrating. Everybody who's been behind a car that's doing something else, contacting their boyfriend or their girlfriend or sending a text message or looking for something in their pocketbook is annoying. It's not being a good citizen. It's being selfish. It's just not right. Now, so you're doing something that's not right. You get tapped, and what happened?
So I told her, hey, we just got hit. We both exited the car. We walked around back, and she had her cell phone on her. I did not have my cell phone. I told her, and he started backing up. Immediately, as soon as we got to the back of the car, he was backing up, so much as it made the person behind him reverse so that he didn't hit them. He started backing up. I told her, take a picture of his car. He's trying to run. So she takes a picture, and then I said, put it on video. She puts her camera onto video and hits record, handed me the phone. I didn't point the camera. I wasn't trying to be a photographer. I walked over to the side of his car, and he's backing up. Now, the car behind him is trying to get out of his way.
You can stand there. You can have a seat. Go back.
So when I walked up to his car, I knocked on the window, and it's his testimony that I was staring him down and that I was aggressive and that he was scared.
You know, I'm sure you weren't happy with him.
So,
and
so he just started backing up. But cars coming down the road, he got gridlocked. He couldn't get into the Costco parking lot. So he came up. May I approach the map again, Your Honor? Mm-hmm. He came up past me, went between these two cars, and then made a U-turn. This is where I walked across the median to stop him. He then swerved at me. You could tell the safety features in the Tesla applied a brake and swerved to the right. He then overrode that and swerved back at me, trying to hit me in the car, in the road, and that's when everything took place.
Okay, so this is what the case is about. He wants you to pay the damage for his window and punitive damages for emotional distress, which I'm dismissing right now, Mr. Stewart, because you caused your own emotional distress. Whatever emotional distress you had, that was on you. So how much did it cost to fix your window? So I know a realistic figure, because this $10,000 isn't flying.
So the actual cost of the window was $617.86.
Okay. And how much did your insurance company pay to fix their car?
$619.45.
Okay. Before we proceed to look at these videos, because now what we're talking about is we're talking about $617 rather than $10,000. But from reading the papers, Mr. DeWitt, you suffered a broken hand.
Yes, ma'am.
And according to your papers, at least, you suffered a broken hand because he hit you with his car.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sue him for hitting you with his car?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
Never sued anyone. Probably will never sue anyone.
Well, that's
Sorry,
not,
but
well, if somebody swerved their car and broke my hand, I guarantee you I would find the best tort lawyer in whatever jurisdiction I was in and sue their pants off.
I felt
If
he
it
was
helped-
trying to injure me. I would have handled it in a different manner.
Well, according to your testimony, Mr. DeWitt, he was trying to injure you. You said he overrode his Tesla to try to swerve right into you. Well, that's trying to injure you. There's no question about that. But I'm going to take a look now because your statement is that he purposely shattered your window with something, and it's your suggestion, at least, that that's how he broke his hand.
Correct.
And he said, no, he broke his hand when you swerved. I read his papers. When you swerved and you hit him with the rear view mirror of your car, correct?
Yes.
Let's take a look. Is this your video?
Yes, this is the dash cam video.
Okay, let's take a look at it.
Right, so, sorry.
Not a so. So he's got keys out in one hand. It looks like a phone in the other. Now he's going across to where you're coming around. He crosses the little median. Oh, no, the car doesn't hit you, Mr. DeWitt. You threw something at it.
When he does the U-turn.
Okay, we're going to see more, but you do realize that you did throw something at his car.
So that was where he hit my side of my hand when he was coming past. So
I don't see that. Just a second. I don't see that. So let's look at it again. Is this when you claim that he hit you?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Christopher Stewart has accused fellow motorist Derek DeWitt of breaking his car window and causing him emotional distress. Derek claims Christopher tried to hit him with his Tesla.
Okay, so, Mr. DeWitt, this is my last question to you, sir. Now, you know that your girlfriend, who owns the car, has taken a photograph of his license plate.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're an intelligent guy, so ultimately you did what you could have done, which was just stay put, avoid any more confrontation, call the police as you did. They reached out to him, got his story. You stay in your car with your girlfriend, and you're safe because you don't know whether he's a nut or not. Certainly his conduct was a little bit nutty that day. So I would have stayed in the car. Now, yes, the answer is yes. Now, your girlfriend, just curious, at any time did she say to you, just get back in the car?
No, ma'am. She did return to the car herself.
Yes, but didn't say to you, get back in the car?
No, ma'am.
Why?
Sorry. Yeah, I just assumed that all parties were going to stop and exchange information, so I went back.
Yeah, but then you must have watched there was a lot of action going on out there. You had to have been watching him.
I didn't see the specific incident when he went on the other side of the...
You didn't see him go across?
No, because I went into the car to get, like I said, it was a brand new car. I didn't even have the full registration information, all that, so I was getting the temporary information out of the car. So I was focused on getting paperwork and things out of the car.
Well, when was the next thing you saw?
When he was coming back across towards my car from the other side of the median.
Okay. And did you call the police?
We then pulled over and called the police.
Who called the police?
He called the police.
Okay.
I had her phone in my hand, so I called the police.
You called 911?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you recall what he said when he called 911?
Well, he reported that we were hit and that the person fled the scene.
So he said, we were hit. You're talking about the car?
Yes.
And then you waited for the police?
Yes, and then an officer
Does
arrived.
that sound about right? That you said we were hit, referring to the car, and the person who hit us fled the scene?
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't say I was hit.
Your Honor, I do remember when the officer showed up, we talked about it, and I did have an injured hand, and I told him when he came around that I had been hit by the car and that he purposely swerved towards me to hit me.
Your Honor, he also told my insurance.
May I see that, please?
I think you can probably sit.
Oh, well, this is from the insurance carrier because you did, in fact, claim the injury to your hand as a result of being hit. The insurance company paid for the damage on your car, but said, according to the information available and footage, the injuries occurred because Derek DeWitt punched the window of your 2021 Tesla Model S. Based on these facts, we've denied liability and bodily injury claim, which clearly you put in, and it's been closed. So that's what happened. Okay. So the answer is, Mr. DeWitt, you have to pay for his window, $617. I don't have to get into, Mr. Stewart, my judgment as to whether or not you were acting appropriately that day. You were not. You hit his car on purpose, tapped it. He was irritating. He was being irresponsible along with his girlfriend by being in a traffic lane and deciding to use that time to plug in an address that they should have done 2 minutes before in a Costco parking lot. But that's what the world has become. Nobody thinks about anybody else these days. You may have gotten frustrated, but that doesn't give you license to hit his car. I don't think that you hit him. I think that he smashed your car window, and that's the best that I can see from the video that I saw. So he has to pay you the $617. I'm also really concerned about your reaction to the whole thing, and I really don't understand it. How much after the incident did the police finally contact you, and did they do that visually, or did they do that on the phone?
I was contacted first by them by the phone.
At home?
No. This was minutes afterwards.
Okay.
After the incident.
And you didn't go back to the scene, you went home?
No, I went to get my child. I was picking him up from daycare. Honestly, I didn't know what else to do.
All right, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $617. We're finished here. Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
I honor the judge. She's a wonderful person, and I've watched the TV show for a long time, so her ruling is her ruling.
She believed that I intentionally hit him.
He's got a fight or flight mentality, and his is to flight, and mine is not.
I intentionally got close to him, hoping that he would move, but I did not intentionally hit him.
He overrode his safety features on his car and intentionally damaged my brand new car, and then tried to flee the scene.
The way that he was looking at me while I was trying to just reverse, like, I wasn't trying to flee the scene at that time. I was just trying to get out of the street.
There's a lot of things you look at hindsight and change.
I guess I won in the end, but the whole thing wasn't worth it.
Just a couple of observations. There's a certain lack of respect for just your fellow human beings. Who cares? So he's behind me, so it'll be another light.
It just makes me think of, my saying, your poor planning is not my problem.
Yes.
So just because you didn't think to put in the address in the parking lot where you're already in parked, why does it have to become my problem that now I'm stuck at a green light trying to make a left? I'm going to be late for my event, for wherever I'm going.
Picking up my kid from school.
Just try and plan a little bit better to not make it everybody else's problem.
And then getting frustrated, and really, it had to be purposefully tapping his bumper, and then turning around, trying to evade giving his information. What I think is most compelling about the plaintiff, and he was entitled to his smashed window, the police told him to come back to the scene. He said no.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that.
I don't know how anyone could come here looking for any amount, but especially $10,000 when you ignored a direct order from a police officer.
Anyway, I know this sounds terribly sexist, and don't write letters or anything. I'm not interested in it, but most road rage cases, most that I've tried, have been men. Now, why is that? I think it's somehow related to testosterone. I don't know. I have to do a scientific evaluation.
Ryan Davis is suing his former landlord, Alex Zady, for a false arrest and bail money.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 2027, Davis versus Zady.
Thank you. Mr. Davis, a couple of years ago, you were a tenant of the defendant's.
Correct, Your Honor.
You rented a room from him?
Correct, Your
in
Honor.
his house. For how long?
For about a year, a little over.
From when to when?
2020, I want to say the beginning of the year till about the end.
Do you remember the dates that he was a tenant?
Yes, they're incorrect what he's saying. It was from May of 2020 to November 2020.
Does that sound right, Mr. Davis?
Something like that, yeah.
May, June, July, August, September, October, and when in November did he leave?
I believe it was by the 10th.
This is what your case is about. Briefly, it is your claim that you and Mr. Zady had some sort of an argument.
Correct.
Which you'll tell me about. And Mr. Zady called the police. You were taken from the premises.
Mm-hmm.
You were arrested, spent the night in jail, bailed yourself out. And this happened in 2020.
Correct.
In November of 2020. Your lawsuit is for false arrest and actual damages. You had to post bail and for filing a false police report. The reason that you have delayed for 2 years in bringing this case against him is because you say you had another action pending.
Correct, Your Honor.
What was the nature of the other action that you had pending?
It was a speeding issue with the police.
Well, it's not a speeding issue with the police. Were you stopped for speeding? Were you arrested for speeding?
Yes, I was, Your Honor.
You were arrested for speeding?
Yeah, and they called it a 2800 VC, if my memory serves me correct.
Well, I don't know what that is.
It's, I guess, evading.
Look into it.
In what city and state do you live?
Irvine, California.
Let me understand this. Very few people are arrested for speeding. You remember what you were arrested for, sir? You weren't arrested for speeding.
They called it evading an officer because I didn't pull over right away.
So you were evading an officer. Let's try that, Sarah.
Evading a police officer in a vehicle. It's vehicle code 2800-1.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, what does it say?
Prohibits evading an officer in a vehicle, which means willfully fleeing from a police officer when the officer is pursuing the person in a car or on a bike. The offense is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail.
Okay, so you had a misdemeanor pending, right? Anything else?
No, that was it.
Anything else historically?
Yes, I did have historical priors and cases and stuff from my past. Yes, I did.
Recent past or distant past?
Distant past.
How distant?
Years. I want to say 2004.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't have to go into 2004. So you had this case pending and you felt that it was inappropriate to bring a civil case against him.
Yeah, because I didn't want the cases to intertwine, Your Honor.
They weren't going to intertwine. The case that he brought against you was eventually dismissed.
Correct.
In what month and year was it dismissed?
It was dismissed the same month, about 2 weeks after that.
Is that right?
I believe so.
Okay. So let me understand this. He alleged that you assaulted him or threatened him. You were taken into custody. The DA examined the case and decided not to prosecute it.
Correct.
And that was 2 years ago.
Correct.
Well, I don't know who gave you advice, sir, or whether you did this on your own, but bringing a civil case against someone for something has no impact whatsoever on a pending criminal case, be it a felony or a misdemeanor. You know, if you were driving in a car and someone hit you in the rear in November of 2020, and you waited 2 years to bring that because you had this evading a police officer action and you thought that that was a valid reason, your case would be dismissed for the hit in the rear and whatever injuries you had, because you're supposed to bring these things in a timely fashion.
I understand.
2 years is not a timely fashion. Now that I've suggested that to you, I would like to hear what you say transpired in November 2020, to the best of your recollection.
On November the 9th, 2020, me and my former landlord, Alex Aditi over here, we had an argument about a guest that I had over.
Okay. You had an argument over the phone or in person?
Over the phone.
Tell me how that phone call was initiated.
He texted me some things and I called him because I wanted to...
Okay. He texted you. Do you have a copy of that text?
No, I don't have the text.
Do you recall what that text said?
Yes, I do.
Tell me what it said.
I told him that he has to get his girlfriend out of the house because she's been coming in every day and night, staying there.
Okay. So you said, in effect, I rented you this room, not your girlfriend.
Correct.
You got to get her out of the house.
Yes.
Okay.
I had
you remember her
already
name?
addressed to him
Just a second. You remember her name?
Not.
What was her name?
Twana.
Now, when you rented the room in May, just a second. When you rented the room in May and you moved in, did Tawana move in with you?
She did not move in with me.
So when you rented the room for yourself in May, you rented the room as a single person.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. And when did you bring Tawana into the room?
It would be once in a while.
No. What month, sir?
I don't recall the exact month.
What month, sir?
It started happening like back in August, every day. It started one day, then every other day, and then it became constant day and night.
For how long?
For a long, long time, till towards the November, when it just went out of proportion.
The argument was about having his girlfriend, according to you, practically living there.
Right.
And you didn't want her there.
No.
Okay, because you rented a room to a single man who, until the girlfriend started to come in, I assume you didn't have trouble with.
Right.
So that's what your text message said to him in November. And as a result of that text message, you called him on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to lay out the story.
Okay.
So you called him on the phone, and you said what to him, and he said what to you?
I don't recall exactly what I said to him, but I remember he told me to tell her, get the out, get out my house, get the out right now. Your girlfriend is a. He was saying a bunch of derogatory things over the phone to me, and then hung up in my face. I'm working at the time, so when I came back.
Did you call your girlfriend?
No, I didn't call her.
Did you text her?
We speak regularly. We're talking all
No,
the time.
then.
Yeah, she knew about it. She did.
Don't tell me what she knew. I just asked you if you texted her or called her.
Yeah, I did.
You did. And when you texted or called her, was she in the house? Was she in your room?
No, she was gone already at this time. When we were arguing,
just
she
a
was.
second. Is that because he told her to leave?
No, she was leaving already. She had work to go to. She wasn't living there. She had her own place and job in Lakewood, California. And I would tell him that all the time, but he would always insinuate that, oh, no, she's living there. I'm like, no, she's not. She pays $2,000 in rent.
He lives in the house with you.
Right.
Now, before Tawana, had you had any difficulty with him? You
None
moved
at
in
all.
May. May, did you have any difficulty? No.
No.
June, did you have any difficulty?
No.
July, did you have any difficulty?
No.
No. You didn't have difficulty until Tawana came.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was the difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
So he told you in a very rude way, if I accept that, to get Tawana out of his house.
Correct, Your Honor.
Then you came home from work.
Mm-hmm.
What time did you get home from work?
About 9-ish.
And Tawana was gone.
Yeah, she was gone.
Had she taken her things?
There was nothing for her to take. She didn't bring stuff over there. She wasn't living there.
No, but she came over there and stayed a few days a week and never had
Maybe
any
an
stuff.
overnight bag.
Okay,
That's
but
it.
she took
yeah.
her with her when she
Yeah,
left.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got home about 9 o'clock, and what happened?
I got home at 9 and I said, don't disrespect me and my woman. You know, this is the woman I love.
When you got home, you walked in the front door. Where was he?
He was in the kitchen and he had a female guest there too. That was
He's
there
allowed
for
to have a
weeks.
female guest. It's his house.
Yeah, right. The pot calling the kettle black, basically.
No,
Hypocrisy.
Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis, if you rent a room to a single guy, did you have a lease agreement with him?
Yeah, I did have a lease agreement.
Did you have a written lease?
Yes, I did.
Did your written lease provide that you were going to live there?
Yes, it did.
Just you?
Yes.
Well, you bring in another person, that's in violation of the lease.
That's not in violation of the lease because there was nothing in the lease that said I couldn't have guests. He actually said I could have guests.
Guest is one thing. A guest is somebody that doesn't come with an overnight bag regularly.
No, he said
one
I could
day,
have an overnight
2
bag.
days, 3 days, 4 days. That's more than an occasional guest. That's somebody that comes and goes even when you're not there. Because according to you, you contacted Tawana while you were at work and she was at the house.
That's false.
Well, I thought you contacted her and then you said she left. She took a few things with her, probably just an overnight bag.
No, she was not going there when I wasn't there. That's false.
Are you saying that she was not in your room when you were not home?
When I was not there, no,
Yeah.
she would not be there.
That true?
No, he had made a key to her. She would come as she pleased.
Did you make
That's
her a key?
false. That's absolutely false.
Did you make her a key?
No, that's
is my
absolutely
question.
false. No, I
Do you
didn't make
still
her a key.
speak to Tawana?
No, I don't. We kind of fell out of touch.
If I were to call Tawana and ask her whether or not you made a key, would she tell me she did or she didn't?
She would say that I didn't.
Didn't.
Yeah.
Phone number.
I have it in my stamp.
I don't have her number saved here.
I'm not exactly buying the fact that Tawana did not have access to the home even when you weren't there, even if it was just a half hour before you came home from work, sir. You work until 9 o'clock every night?
Your Honor, I had this to say about the whole key situation. I gave her my key when I was locked up in jail from his false police report. I gave her my property, and she had my key then to help me get the stuff out of his home. But I never went and made her a copy of a key anywhere.
Did she ever use your key other than when you were incarcerated?
No.
He says she did.
Ryan Davis claims his former landlord, Alex Zady, owes for bail money after Alex had him falsely arrested.
Okay, so now you're having this discussion. He's in the kitchen. You come home from work at 9 o'clock, and you went into the kitchen to look for him.
Correct.
And when you found him, tell me what happened.
We had just a brief, maybe 2-minute conversation or argument, discourse about what the things that he said. And I said, you know, don't be disrespectful to my woman and me. And I said, you know, you're a bitch. I called him a bitch. I did. But I never threatened him, harassed him.
You said you're what?
That's it.
What does that mean? That's a half a sentence.
Well.
He was calling him a bitch. You are a bitch.
Oh, you were calling him?
Yes, because he says these things over the phone.
He's a guy. Why
Yeah.
don't you call him a...
Because he says all these things over the phone, and he gets real loud, and he's a completely different person when he's on the phone. But then when I'm in
You think that's gender neutral?
Yeah, at this point.
Well, there you go. That's why I have you here. Okie dokie.
So
okay, so you were going, don't call me that. You called him a name, and then things got heated, and then what happened?
No, things didn't get heated. After that, he said, oh, that's how you want to do it? And then I said, if you want to get me evicted, you have to go through it the right way and do it legally and give me a 30-day eviction.
No, he must have said to you, I want you out of here because you called me a name. If you said, if you want me evicted, then he had to have said something about getting you out.
He didn't really see, I don't remember him mentioning anything about me getting out. I just remember the fact that he called the police to get me out.
No, before he called the police. You were still in the kitchen. Do you ever leave the kitchen?
Yes, I did.
Where did you go?
I went to my room.
Okay. Before you went to your room, did you hear him on the phone with the police?
I did.
Before you went to your room?
Yes.
Okay. And?
And I didn't sit there and listen to his phone call. I took a video and I started recording because I didn't want to be made out to look like the guilty party. And I had it pretty much live streaming the whole time, which was an Instagram video.
Can I see it?
No, I don't have the video. The police
then it
deleted
doesn't exist. If you don't have it, it doesn't exist for my purpose.
Understood.
But you had it then?
Yeah, I did have it then.
You did. And the police came?
Yes.
And I assume if the police came, you showed them the video.
Yeah, I was showing it to them.
And despite showing them the video, they took you into custody.
Despite showing them the video, they took me into custody.
Despite looking at the video,
yes,
which I haven't seen.
They didn't look at the video. They refused to look at it.
Well, let's go one step further. You see, Mr. Davis, this is why you bring actions right away, so that not only everybody's memory is fresh, but if I wanted to call a police officer who responded or whatever, that's why you bring an action right away.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So now you're taken into custody and you have a video that is totally, according to you, exculpatory.
I don't know the definition.
Exculpatory means it says that you were not guilty of anything.
Okay.
And you appear in court?
No, I didn't appear in court.
Never?
No, never.
Well, what happened to the case?
The case was thrown out. It was a DA reject because there was insufficient evidence that I did anything to him.
And you never showed the district attorney your video?
I didn't get a chance to because the video was deleted by the police.
The police department deleted your video?
Yeah, they did.
You are a terrible victim of circumstance, Mr. Davis. Did you ever make a complaint that the police department deleted your video that would be exculpatory?
No.
Why not? I would if I had.
Maybe ignorance of the law, I guess.
What?
I said maybe ignorance of the law, I guess. Not knowing. When you know better, you do better.
No, Mr. Davis. Actually, I mean, sometimes you really don't know what the law is, but you were smart enough, you said, to tell me, because you knew I would say, why wait 2 years, that you didn't want this action to conflict with another action. Well, that's a two-process thinker.
I've had something like that happen to me before, where I had a criminal case and a civil case pending, and the dates were kind of intertwining and messing, and they're about to get in the way of my civil case. So I didn't want to make that same mistake with this case, Your Honor.
Okay, so you want to tell me what your version of the events were of November 9th of 2020?
Yes, Your Honor. I had gone to Mexico for a business trip meeting, and I had my friend who was visiting from Mexico staying at my place, and at that same time, I had another roommate who was renting the room next to Ryan Davis's room. His name was Dave. I received a call from Dave on November 9th that it's constant sex going on.
Okay, so you received a call from the other person living in your house who you were renting a room to.
Right.
Okay, and then, don't tell me what he said. Can't tell me, that's all hearsay.
Well, I've heard prior to all the sexual acts taking place.
Listen to me. You personally,
Yes.
when you were home.
Yes.
Okay, so you heard what was going on behind his closed doors.
Right, day and night.
Okay.
Like there's
Fine.
no tomorrow.
Okay, well, maybe, maybe jealous. Okay.
Disrespectful.
Okay, so he was becoming an annoying tenant.
Yes.
For whatever reason.
Yes.
Keep going. You sent him a text. He called you. You had heated words. He comes home from work. You're in the kitchen.
Yes.
He comes into the kitchen and
I told him, Ryan, we've gone through this many times before. I've addressed this to you about your girlfriend coming here all the time, day and night, and now she's here every day. What he was doing was sneaking her in late at night, and that's how I wouldn't know that she snuck back in. There were times I came home from work, and she was already there when Ryan wasn't even there, so she had the key, obviously.
Okay, now let's go to November 9th.
November 9th, I confronted him. I said that this is just way too much. My other roommate wants to leave. He cannot take it anymore.
And?
And then he said, well, she isn't here. And my...
Okay, he said she wasn't here. Keep going.
Then he cussed at my friend who was visiting from Mexico. He said, get this bitch out of here.
That's not true.
Don't interrupt.
And,
okay.
I said, you can talk to her.
Okay, let's go.
Right. Then he went into his room. He came back. He brought a samurai sword with him. And he flashed it at me. I'm going to slice you in half like a butter.
Okay.
What?
And I'm like shocked at that time. Don't know what's going on with him because he's just changing character. I'm scared of my life. I'm scared of my guests.
Okay. And then what happened? So
And
he
then
came out
I said, you need to get out of here. You need to move.
And then he went back. He didn't do anything with the sword.
No, he didn't. He went back in the room with the sword. He put it there. Then he came back and he pushed me against the wall. As he was pushing me, I tried to block him by putting my two hands up. And when he pushed me, it bruised. I had a cut on my wrist, but there was a bruise.
Okay.
And
now,
I
at what
said, I'm going to
point?
call the police.
Okay, so you called the police when he came back out of his room the second time, this time without the
Yes.
sword. And the police took a report.
Yes.
Do you have that report?
Yes,
I'd
right
like
here,
to
yeah.
see it. Mr. Davis, do you have a copy of the police report or
I
any
have it right
follow-up
here, too,
report?
Your
I'd like to see that too. Mr. Davis, where did you get the sword from?
My girlfriend at the time,
Which girlfriend?
Twana.
When did she get it for you?
She got it during my birthday, for a birthday gift.
When's your birthday?
October 31st.
And this happened on November 9th.
Correct.
Between October 31st and November 9th, did you have occasion to show Mrs. Zaidi prior to November 9th? So
Never,
between
Your Honor.
31st and the 8th, did you show Mr. Zaidi the sword?
Never, Your Honor.
Her landlord, Alex Zaidi, of causing a false arrest. Alex says Ryan threatened him with a samurai sword.
October 31st to November 8th, did you ever show Mr. Zaidi the sword?
No, Your Honor.
No.
No.
Okay. So unless he went into your room,
He went into my room.
unless he went into your room prior to November 9th, there was no way he would have seen the sword.
Correct.
Okay. And when did you go away on this business trip, sir?
On the 9th.
That day?
Yes, in the morning.
And on what day did you first see this sword that was in his room?
On the evening of November 9th.
That was the first time, not his
First-
birthday, not second day, not third day. Okay. Does his room have a lock on it, by the way?
From inside.
From inside. Mr. Davis, were you on probation at the time of this incident for something in Riverside
Yes,
that
Your
involved a fraud?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And that wasn't a fraud dating back to 2004.
It was dating back
No, it wasn't an incident.
for 2000 and I believe 15.
Okay. So when you told me before, and I'm not even going to have Whitney read it back, you said the last time you had this speeding little problem and evading police, I said, well, before that? And you said, yeah, I did before that in 2004.
Correct.
But that was a lie.
Which was like...
Just a second, that was a lie. You had another case involving a fraud in 2015
It wasn't.
on which you were on probation, which means that you were either found guilty or took a plea.
Correct.
Okay. And when the police officer, Mr. Davis, took down your statement, you said that while you acknowledged that you had a samurai sword in your room, you said you had never shown it to Mr. Zadie.
Correct, Your Honor.
You had never showed it at any time. Well, then how would he know that you had a samurai sword, sir, in your room when he called the police?
Because he was going in my room, I believe, when I was not there, going through my stuff.
Okay.
That's the only other way I can know that he was.
Okay. I'm not finished reading this, yes.
Okay, that's fine.
That's like the 2015 case. You just remembered. Do you have any other police reports that you'd like me to see, Mr. Davis?
Not a police report, but I have the bail bonds receipt that I paid. And
I'm not interested in your bail bonds receipt.
I have the DA reject.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, they rejected the case right here.
Yeah,
They refused
I'd like
to file
to see
charges. Your Honor, there's a conflicting story where he said he was left on the 9th because he was there 2 weeks with his guest prior to that. So how could he leave on the 9th if his guest was there 2 weeks prior to the 9th?
I asked him when he left for his... Sir, you didn't understand the reason for my question. I wanted to know if he had been gone from October 31st, which was your birthday, to the 8th. That's why I asked him when he left on his business trip.
Correct.
And he said he didn't leave until the date of this incident. You want to say he left before?
He did.
That would
leave
be
before.
interesting.
He
What?
did leave before.
He did.
Yes.
On what date did he leave?
I don't know the exact date, but I
A
know
week before, 5 days before?
it was maybe about a few weeks before.
November 9th?
Yeah, a few weeks.
Then he wouldn't have been able to see your sword because he wouldn't have been coming in and out of your room.
There from the 9th.
Well,
from
this
the
happened on the
31st
9th.
From the 31st to the 9th, he was there.
Well, you just told me he left 2 weeks before.
I'm saying he was gone before that date, and then on the 31st, between the 31st and the 9th, he was there at the place.
Okay, well, that's what he says. He said he was there, and the business was only 1 day. He left on the 9th, and he came home on the 9th. You said, no, he was there for 2 weeks before. Well, if he was there for 2 weeks before and you didn't get the sword until 31st of October, he could not have seen it by going in and out of your room. So you have to sort of get your story straight, sir. So he was there or not there, according to you?
He was there.
He was there?
Correct.
Okay, good.
His guest was also there for about 2 weeks.
Just who cares about his guest? He owns the house.
Okay.
Okay, it was a misdemeanor case and they declined to prosecute it.
Correct.
Your case is dismissed, Mr. Davis, for several reasons. It's dismissed because it was brought in an untimely fashion. It was brought 2 years after the fact for no valid reason.
Your Honor,
it's dismissed for that. It's dismissed for a second reason, because I find some of your testimony, sir, incredible. And one of the reasons I say that is because you were not forthcoming with a legitimate answer to me with regard to your prior history, which isn't always just positive, but if you had something pending for evading the police, and you had something pending for evading the police while you were on probation for a crime for which you were convicted, either after trial or after hearing, do you understand? You would remember that. Are you still on probation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, your case is dismissed. We're done.
This
You're
court is
making a
adjourned.
big mistake, Your Honor. You have guests over 2 to 3 weeks at a time, but I have a girl over for 3 days, and now it's World War III.
He was only allowed to stay there by himself, not with his girlfriend.
I never went at him with a samurai sword.
It was pretty scary.
He basically just used the system against me because I'm a person of color and I have a record already, so I fit the bill.
He had a criminal record. When I rented the room to him, he was asking for a second chance.
It's easier for them to lock somebody up who's already been to jail.
Nobody was renting him the room, and he was saying he's trying to start a new life.
I'm 6'1", 200 pounds. I wouldn't even need a weapon if I was going to assault him, but I never did.
Thank you, Judge Judy.
You know, there are so many lessons from this case, I think, Sarah. One of them is there's a reason that the law tells you to bring an action in a timely fashion, right?
Many reasons.
Many reasons. One is because it's not like an afterthought, you know, and there are reasons for delays. You were in a hospital, you go into the armed forces, but here there was no really legitimate reason for him not bringing this kind of case in a timely fashion. And the other one that's always a good thing to me, what did you think about his credibility?
Yeah, I think it's hard for a fact finder to believe the totality of your testimony if one of the first questions, just about a simple question of your prior history with law enforcement, if you have any pending charges, I think that's a very simple question. If you aren't fully truthful with the fact finder on that question, it makes it really difficult, and the rest of your testimony is now suspect.
That's true. And it's a good lesson because sometimes you think, well, it's sort of an innocuous question. I don't have to get, but if I, sitting as a juror in a case, see that somebody is fabricating a fact, and they want you to believe them. You know, they're saying it is that I want you to believe my last law enforcement issue was in 2004.
A long time ago, no run-ins.
Right, nothing else, and a speeding. And a speeding.
Yeah.
Ticket, and
it sets
then
the tone in a negative way, and it makes it difficult for the fact finder to find in your favor.
I'm glad. So you agreed with that.
His ex-girlfriend, Jennifer Hancock, and her ex-boyfriend, Derek Jones, for personal property.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 2063, Martin versus Hancock Jones.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Martin, how old are you, sir?
I'm 46.
Who is this with you?
This is my girlfriend, Kimberly.
Case is not unusual, but sad. Mr. Martin, you had a long history of drug addiction.
I did.
From when to when?
From 2002 until December 1st, 2020. I've been clean for 2 years on the 1st of December.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Did you manage to get clean by going into a residential facility?
I did, yes.
How long were you in a residential facility?
I was in 23 days in an inpatient facility, and I was just over a month in an outpatient facility.
Are you currently working?
I am.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a production manager for a soap and bath bomb company.
How long have you been working for them?
A year yesterday.
Are you in touch with your folks?
I am.
Back in their good graces?
Yes, ma'am.
There was a time when that wasn't true.
Correct.
This is what I gather this case is about. Miss Hancock was your girlfriend.
Yes.
For how long?
We dated from November 2019 until April 2020. We separated for a few months and got back together in July 2020 and separated again in September 2020, so 7 months.
And it would be a fair statement, sir, that the reasons that you separated on both instances is because you relapsed into using drugs.
Yes.
And it would also be a fair statement that the first time you left the house at the defendant's request, you were unsuccessful permanently from ridding yourself of addiction, but you thought you were okay and you asked her to take you back.
Yes.
And she did.
Yes.
And you would have to acknowledge to me that made her, a forgiving person.
Very.
And someone who cared about you.
Yes.
I say all that to you because it's not my job today to exacerbate what appears to be a strained situation, which I assume from your papers has resulted in a final protective order in favor of Miss Hancock, keeping you away from her for how many years?
Permanently.
Forever.
Yes.
And that was after a criminal case was resolved, and that was a criminal stalking case.
Yes.
That was resolved, and it was resolved in her favor, probably, and I don't know this for certain, probably with a plea from you.
Yes.
And when you enter a plea, the judge always asks you, you understand your right to have a trial, you have a right to examine witnesses, you have a right to call witnesses, and by making this admission, it is the same thing as a guilty verdict.
Correct.
Judge did tell you that.
Yes.
I assume. I mean, I remember making those statements many, many times. A long, long time ago. I'm surprised I still remember any of it. And you're supposed to remain away from her.
Yes.
So the first question I have, well, I know why you're here. You're here because you say the last time she threw you out, and she threw you out not only because she found drugs that you were using again, but she had a fear that you were selling drugs out of the house, and she couldn't be involved with that, which is perfectly legitimate. You would have to acknowledge that.
Absolutely.
You'd also acknowledge, and I'm reading these papers sort of between the lines, your complaint, her answer, and the countersuit, that Miss Hancock had a child.
Yes.
A son.
Yes.
How old? When you were
15
living?
at the time.
And uber impressionable age, and the fact that you were using drugs in the house, it really exposed him to something that a teenager shouldn't be exposed to because his mother has feelings for that person who's drug addicted.
Yes.
And I assume you had warm feelings at some point for this 15-year-old.
Absolutely.
At the time, your parents had asked you to leave the house.
I was living with my parents at the time. Jennifer asked me to move into the house because Mr. Jones had placed a GPS tracker on her car, and she was concerned about her safety with him.
So you were dating at the time?
Yes, I was living with my parents before I moved in, yes.
Okay. Was that a happy situation?
At the time it was, yes. It didn't get difficult till after.
Moved away from that. And when you moved in with Miss Hancock, according to you, you were not paying rent.
Correct.
You were, in fact, working.
I was.
And according to you, you were working, not paying rent, and buying certain things for the house in lieu of rent. That's what you say in your papers.
Yes, I bought things for the house. Yes.
Those were exactly the words that you swore to. You said, I also spent over $10,000 on things for her place.
Correct.
In lieu of paying to live there.
Correct.
What things did you buy?
I bought a dryer.
Dryer?
I put $1,200 into her son's Ford, fixing it. I bought...
Okay, so you paid for some things for her son. What else did you buy for the house?
We went to Costco several times and spent $1,000.
Okay, so you
towels.
went, just a second. I'm not interested in Costco several times. Yeah. You know, you do use toilet paper, don't you?
Absolutely.
What else did you buy for the household?
I bought a battery for a Ford car. I bought a Keurig. I bought a rug, towels. I paid for the vacations while we were together. I bought some home lights for the outside.
Come on, keep going. What else did you buy?
And
what else did you buy for the house? So far, we're not close to $10,000.
That's all.
Well, you swore to the fact that you spent $10,000, that you bought things for the house in lieu of rent. So far, you've given me maybe $2,500.
Okay.
And that includes a couple of trips to Costco. So I want to know, what else did you buy for the house? Did you buy televisions for the house?
I bought televisions.
Just a second. How many televisions did you buy?
I bought two.
And how much were they?
One was $1,700, the other one was $500.
What else did you buy for the house?
Those are the only items I remember buying for the house.
Great. Now, what items do you claim that, because that's what this is about so far, what items do you claim that Miss Hancock kept that belonged to you when she told you to leave the second time?
I have text messages saying...
No, don't tell me text. I don't want to hear text messages. I want to hear what items you claim are your property that she kept when she told you to leave the second time. That requires things: a fishbowl, a guppy, a pair of shoes, a tie. And if you say any of those things, I'm going to throw you out of here because I don't waste my time over guppies.
Yeah.
So tell me what you are alleging that she kept.
2 TVs.
Okay.
An entertainment center.
Just a second. You didn't tell me an entertainment. You told me you bought 2 TVs, $1,700 and $500. That would fit into the $10,000 of what you spent in the house. Entertainment center. What did you pay for the entertainment center?
Originally, I paid $1,200.
What else?
I'm also asking for the return of a rehab center that she was kicked me out of, $2,500.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. Keep going.
Okay. And then 47 Nintendo 64 games.
47 what?
Nintendo 64 games.
So, Mr. Martin, because I'm going to make short shrift of this case, as you can see right now, and your girlfriend looks like a nice lady. I don't know why you're here.
His ex-girlfriend, Jennifer Hancock, and her ex-boyfriend, Derek Jones, owe for personal property. Jennifer and Derek are countersuing for harassment.
Okay, so far, all the things that you told me that you bought for the house barely add up to the $10,000 that you swore that you purchased for things for the house in lieu of paying rent. Do you understand?
I do. If I may also add, when we were separated the first time, I sold my marital home for $47,000. I cashed it at my bank and I put it into an account with her that I was an authorized user on. I did not get that money back because she removed my name from the account. So that money also went to purchase things while we were together that were for the house. I don't remember specifically what we bought. It was close to $20,000 that wasn't returned.
But Mr. Martin, I can understand that. But you know, this is a court.
Okay.
This is not a guessing game. This is not a game show. If you're saying that because of whatever reason you put your money into an account that she had access to and you spent money together on the house from that account, I can't help you with that.
Okay.
Do you understand?
I do.
I mean, it was a time that was a fog. Did Miss Hancock and or Mr. Jones ever return any property to you or to your parents' house?
They did on November 20th.
That was in 2021?
Yes.
What month in 2021 did they return things to your parents' house?
It was November 20th to the 21st during the night.
Were you present?
I was not. I did not live there.
So I would assume that you found out that that property was delivered to your parents' house from either Miss Hancock or your parents.
My parents.
And your parents aren't here today.
They are not.
Your girlfriend was not there when they were delivered.
I have signed affidavits from them.
From whom?
From my parents about the property.
Are your parents in any way disabled, or are either one of them in the military?
No, my father was in the military, no longer.
Well, that's the only reason you don't come in person to court if you're disabled, and I might accept an affidavit, or if you're unable to come to court by virtue of the fact that you're in the military. None of those things apply here, so I'm not taking any information that you have in an affidavit. Suffice it to say that they did, over a 2-day period, return a lot of property to your parents' house.
Yes.
And that, based upon my rough guesstimates, because you can't help me out anymore with that you swore in your complaint, Mr. Martin, that you spent in lieu of rent $10,000
Yes.
in the home.
Yes.
And that was specifically because you weren't paying any of the household expenses. Yes. And all of the things that you added up to me, I don't know what 47 video games are, but I assume that the 15-year-old played them more than you did. She says they were gifted to him. I don't know whether they were or they weren't. Certainly, if you want them back. Do you still have any of the video games?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you want the video games, sir, or do you want to leave them where they are?
I would like them.
You would like them?
Yes.
Okay. Miss Hancock, I'm going to make this as easy as possible. I would like you, not the boyfriend, I would like you to pack up those video games. And do you live in the same town, area, whatever?
Close enough.
Is there a police precinct where you can drop them off?
Yes.
Do you know what precinct number that is?
I don't know the number, but I'm happy to drop them off at Bountiful City Police Department.
Got it?
Yep.
Within 5 days from today, package up the videos that you have.
No problem.
You know, if any of them are damaged, I don't want to hear from you. We're talking about a year ago, a 15-year-old has played with them, whatever. She's going to give you back your video, your 47 video games. Okay?
Okay.
Take a breath. You have to say it's over. Tell me about your new girlfriend. Are you living together?
We are, yeah. She's great. I love her.
She's great?
She's amazing.
And you're fine?
Yeah.
And you're working?
Mm-hmm.
You have to put a period to this.
Yes.
A real period.
I know.
Okay? Ms. Hancock, you and are you currently together, or is this an ex-boyfriend?
Ex-boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend. Well, you seem to have problems with boyfriends. You got to start picking them better.
I do.
This one put a tracker on you. This one, you have a protective order permanently. You have to figure these things out before ultimately you get very hurt.
Absolutely.
Okay. I read not only your answer, and I've resolved Mr. Martin's claim. He is going to get all of his videos back. You know that Ms. Hancock and Mr. Jones have a cross-claim for harassment.
I do.
And that was not made part of the criminal case, any restitution.
No.
It was not. Did the district attorney request any restitution?
No.
Why not?
I was actually not involved. It was a criminal case, not a civil.
Well, you were the complainant in the criminal case.
The state of Utah is the one who filed it.
But you were the complainant. They may have filed it.
It actually says right here, state of Utah is the plaintiff.
Of course.
So,
I know that
I did contact the police and ask them to
So
do that.
you were the complainant.
Okay, yes.
You know, it's the state of New York versus John Jones. It's the state of Utah versus John Jones, but there has to be a complainant.
Yes.
Somebody who was robbed, somebody who was the victim of stalking, somebody who was the victim of an assault. That's the complainant. That's who you were.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
Did you ever ask the district attorney for compensation for lost wages or anything else that you suffered as a result of this stalking?
No, I was not aware I could actually do that.
Okay, well, that's not something that I consider, but there is part of your counterclaim that is particularly troubling to me. And it is your claim on the counterclaim that Mr. Martin, at some point, photoshopped pornographic pictures of you.
Yes.
And disseminated them.
Yes.
When did that happen?
It was left on Derek's car. And I'm not sure when, because Derek found it and didn't tell me about it for a while because he was upset and he didn't want to upset me about it.
When did you find it, Mr. Jones?
That would have been after this first bogus stalking injunction he filed and lost.
Bogus?
He filed a fraudulent stalking injunction. He filed
Stalking?
Against me.
So it was after that?
Mm-hmm.
And that was May of 2020?
One.
I'm trying to tell Mr. Martin, and I don't know how to make it any more clear to him, that his path going forward has to be putting a period, that in this whole scenario, you were the culprit.
I did not do what they're claiming right there. Absolutely, 100%. I did not.
You did not?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Let us assume, Mr. Jones, that you found on your car a pornographic picture that had been photoshopped with Miss Hancock's face and someone else's body. I'm assuming for a moment that that's true. Not that I have to look at it. I assume for the moment that's true. What proof do you have that Mr. Martin put that on your car?
Well, the problem is I don't have any proof of that, but he had put other signs up. I have a police report. He was hanging signs on my property. He got arrested for doing that and tased.
Okay.
I mean...
What I'm asking you specifically, that's what I'm particularly concerned about.
We couldn't prove it was him. We couldn't prove it was him.
Okay, fine. Do you have a new boyfriend?
No, I do not.
In what month was the protective order made final?
May of 2022.
Other than this experience, what happened?
Oh, there's a fly.
There's a fly. Oh, Mr. Jones, I'm expert at flies. That's not coming.
He's accused his ex-girlfriend, Jennifer Hancock, and her ex-boyfriend, Derek Jones, of keeping his personal property. Jennifer and Derek are countersuing, claiming Brian was harassing them.
Okay. Other than today's appearance, since that was issued in May of 2022, have you had any other contact with Mr. Martin?
No.
Have you?
Yes.
Tell me when.
5/7/2021, we called the police.
No. Pay careful attention to my question, Mr. Jones. Between May of 2022 and today, have you had any contact with Mr. Martin?
Just his files, his claims. He keeps filing protective orders against me.
When was the last time he filed a protective order against you?
Well, he tried filing one a week before this, and I have that.
A week
as well.
before what?
Before this case.
Okay.
And I have that police report. They told him no.
Okay. So they didn't allow him to file it?
That one. But he's filed several others.
I'm talking about between May...
Nope, that's the last one.
That was the last one. I'd like to see it, please, Kevin. Mr. Jones, do you have a protective order in your favor?
I've tried.
Not tried.
No, I don't.
You do not? Okay.
Your Honor, I have a video of catching him stalking my house, hanging signs. We submitted that. We also have the police report that he was arrested that day and tased.
And tased?
Yep. I have that report right here as well.
I'd like to see it. Mr. Jones, I'm going to go back to just May of 2020. Since May of 2020, have you had any contact with him? The answer is either yes or no.
Yes.
When?
He's submitted letters to my family. He has emailed me.
I'd like to see the letters he submitted to your family.
These are some. He said, oh, there's more. These were cease and desist
Just
letters.
1 second. Just 1 second. What's this?
Mr. Jones texted me a text that says tweaker, and that's who I...
Just, dear Miss Jones, who did you send this to?
I'm not aware of the letter. May I see it?
He took it to my rental.
What are you giving me?
These are letters he submitted to my houses or my rentals when he was trying to find me.
Just a second.
This was in relation. Mr. Jones had a temporary stalking injunction in place against him on February 7th, 2021. On May 5th, 2021, he was served that stalking injunction, and that is when the incident with the Bountiful Police took place that you're reading right now.
Mm-hmm.
He showed up to where I was getting my oil change. In addition to that, he has sent Facebook messages to my girlfriend that she's
I'm
here
going
to
to
testify
tell
on.
you. I'm going to tell you that. You see how calm you are? Not him. You understand that? Not him. Probably not him, but definitely not him. And I'm going to just suggest to both of you that neither one of you want any other legal action. You already have a lifetime protective order issued against you in favor of Miss Hancock. Yes. So I'm just telling you, I'd stay as far away from him, Mr. Martin, as I possibly could. Go a mile out of your way rather than go anywhere near where he is.
That's
fine.
That's what I'm doing
now.
Now,
Mr. Jones, you have, and I've been around here for a long time, these kinds of buildings for a long time, you have an attitude. I can tell you have an attitude. And things may have been bad historically, but you know your behavior wasn't perfect historically. You would agree with that with Miss Hancock, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
You would agree with that. Okay. And you're not a baby. I mean, it's not as if you're 21 years old anymore. And if you have that within you to have bad behavior against another person, that's there. Either you have it or you don't. And what I'm suggesting to you is that this is not going to be a good outcome if this animus continues. She's not your girlfriend anymore. He's got a new girlfriend. You don't have anything to do with him anymore. Nothing. If you have to travel a mile out of your way to avoid going anywhere where he gets lunch, coffee, a Jiffy Lube, or anything else, I would suggest that you do it.
I've done that. He keeps filing protective orders.
Good. Well, he can do that. So can you. And what I'm suggesting is that it's not... Don't add fuel to this fire, madam. It's my job to try to temper it. If what you're going to do is to add fuel to this fire, I won't. Then I think that it's really not a smart idea.
Yeah.
The plaintiff will get his 47 videos back within 5 days. They will be dropped off at the local police precinct. What?
May I actually say there's only 21 that was ever given, so there's not 47.
How many do you have?
We have 19 of those games.
Okay, 19.
Yes.
You have any other property that belongs to him?
No.
No. Okay, we're done here. 19. 5 days. Police precinct.
This court is adjourned.
I'm disappointed because I've dealt with this man for over 2 years.
He's just jealous of my awesomeness.
I've moved on with my life. I have a new girlfriend, and I just want my things back.
Whatever. I just want him out of my life.
It's time to close the chapter. It's time to move on.
I never want to see him again. I never want to hear from him again.
People spend so much time with negative energy.
Oh, yes.
Sarah, the one thing that you and all other single people out there can take away from this case is that women are supposed to be smart. And clearly, she had a nose for bad boys.
Yeah.
Because according to what we heard, the reason she invited him to come and live with her is because the
different problem with a different
co-defendant, right, co-defendant, Mr. Jones, was really stalking her. Mm-hmm. And the same problem she had with the plaintiff. But stalking is an odd one. You have to be a little bit off to engage in stalking, to really terrorize somebody.
Especially to the level of legal action for stalking.
Yeah.
Because I know the standard for getting a restraining order, even a temporary one, is very high, the standard.
There has to be some pretty serious stuff that the judge reads. And he pled guilty. Mm-hmm. But Mr. Jones also acknowledged that he had not treated her well. So it's always sad to me when perfectly reasonable women, sometimes because of their need to nest, will choose subpar mates.
I think it's more important to hold on to your own energy than to allow it to seep into these negative wells that will just run you dry.
You're absolutely right. Just remember it.
Marissa Quella Ehlers is suing business owners Ernie and Sonia Gallego for a refund on custom T-shirts.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Case 2014, Quella Ehlers versus Gallegos.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Your last name is Ehlers?
Ehlers.
Ehlers.
Yes.
You have a son.
I do.
And he plays a sport.
He does.
What kind of a sport does he play?
He is in asphalt racing.
Is he on a team?
We have our own team. It's called Lionheart Racing.
And how many people are on the team?
He is the sole driver, but we have a pit crew of approximately 8.
And he doesn't wear a uniform. When he
wears
drives.
A race suit, yes.
He wears a race suit.
Correct.
So the T-shirts that you ordered from the defendant were for the 8 and crew.
It was to sell. My son has a congenital heart defect, and he was treated when he was very young at Chalk Hospital. So we sell shirts to donate the proceeds to Chalk Hospital.
To whom?
We sell shirts to fans, to the pit crew, to family, friends.
Well, pit crew is only 8 people. I assume you give them a shirt.
We do.
Yeah, of course. So the other ones you sell, if you could sell. How many years have you been selling these shirts?
2 years.
And last year, who made the T-shirts for you?
A place called Rush Order Tees.
Would you look that up, please?
Sure. It's an online T-shirt ordering.
And when they came last year, how many did you order?
We ordered 200 last year.
How many did you sell?
We sold all of them.
And how much were they? A piece?
They were $25 a piece.
To make?
To make 13, I believe.
So you were able to give a lot of money that year to your favorite charity.
Correct.
Why didn't you go back to rush order tees this year?
Sonia, the defendant.
No, I'm asking you, were satisfied with your product?
I was. And I was actually in the process of getting ready to place a new order when I received a call at my office asking if I would be interested in placing an order with their company that was a local company.
And who did you get that call from?
Sonia.
That's you.
Yes.
How did you get the plaintiff's number?
I was making calls to local businesses listed as members of the Placentia City Chamber of Commerce. Her place of business, Impact Properties, came up as a member, and I made a call, and she was the one that answered the phone.
And what did you say to her?
I introduced myself, and I let her know that we are a screen printing business here in Placentia, and I was reaching out to local businesses to see if they would be interested in ordering custom T-shirts, and if not, at least to let them know that we offer those services for future reference.
How much did you quote her per T-shirt?
So she ordered a few different garments.
Just tell me what you quoted her.
$14 per T-shirt.
That's $1 more than you had paid last year.
Correct.
Had you gotten a quote from Rush Order for this year?
Not yet.
Well, that would cut into your profit by about $200.
Except that I didn't have to pay shipping.
Rush Order isn't a large online reputable business for screen printing, bags, cups, shirts, things like that.
And you were happy with them last year?
Yes.
On what date did you place an order with the defendant's company for these T-shirts?
March 30th.
Do you have a written agreement?
I do.
May I see it, please?
I would like to note that the $14 quote was for 90 T-shirts, not 200. So that does.
I just want to see what the contract says. Okay. Yes, $14 was for 90. That was for short sleeved. Long sleeve printed was $16 plus tax. There's a setup fee, redraw artwork, extra large sizes. Well, this is not a signed agreement. However, the last sentence reads, by submitting your payment, you agree to these terms and conditions. You are verifying that all the information on the invoice is correct. You submitted payment.
I do have proof of payment, yes.
They don't dispute that you actually paid them because you had to pay them in advance.
Correct.
Okay, so this is a clear contract. And it's your claim that you were dissatisfied with the artwork, you had paid already, you want a refund, you did not use their T-shirts.
Correct.
And I believe you actually canceled or tried to reverse the credit card that you had used.
I tried to get a refund through PayPal, correct.
And according to you, that was denied because the defendant said that you had actually picked up the T-shirts.
Correct.
Okay.
And I have
proof
of that from PayPal.
I'd like to see that.
The incorrect logo was used.
Okay. Before I get into the substantive part of it, whether or not you liked the artwork or not, who was contacted by PayPal? Which one of you?
That would be, he handled the PayPal claim.
I took care of PayPal.
You took the call from PayPal?
Yes.
When you had communication with PayPal, do you have any proof, written proof of your communication, or did you just speak to PayPal verbally on the phone?
Both. We talked on the phone, and we also, PayPal documents our conversations via email through the website.
Did you tell PayPal that the plaintiff had picked up the merchandise?
Yes.
Well, that's not true.
It is true. She picked up the merchandise.
No. I don't believe that, sir. I believe she was dissatisfied with the merchandise. But unless you can prove to me that she picked up the merchandise, I don't believe that. Okay. Because she may be a tough cookie, and she may have gotten crazed with you and said miserable things about you in her review, but she would not be here today if she picked up the merchandise.
Her event was the next day. The day she picked them up, it was the day before her event.
Who gave it to her?
We gave it to her.
Not we. No, not we. Who gave it to her?
I gave it to her?
You're asking me a question, sir. You're asking me a question.
Her order was...
Just a second. You have a business?
Yes.
You're in a building. Is there a reception area in the building?
Yes.
Did you tell PayPal that they were picked up from the reception area in the building?
I don't recall.
I want you to think about it. I want you to think about it. Did you tell PayPal that they were picked up in a reception area in your building.
I don't recall if I said the reception area or my office. I'm not sure the terminology I used.
Well, what was it, reception area or your office?
My office is
That's a question.
Area. My reception area is in my office. I don't recall exactly what I told PayPal, but she did pick them up that day. And that's what I told PayPal.
No, I don't believe you.
Okay. That's what we're here for.
No, that's what we're here for. Because sizing her up, she's a tough cookie.
Yes.
And she, as I said, might have been dissatisfied with the logo, which I don't necessarily have to even go into now. What the screen was like, what the colors were off, whatever it was, I don't have to go into that. Because if I believe that she did not pick up the merchandise, and you told PayPal that she did pick up the merchandise, she gets her refund back. Now, so I'm going to come back to you. You didn't like the way they looked.
Correct.
I don't care why. Did you have other shirts made?
I did. I have one of them here today.
Do you have an invoice for the other shirts? Who did you have them made by?
Rush Order Tees.
That's easy. When did you have them made by Rush Order Tees?
I had them made in May.
Well, that's about 30 days later. And did you sell them?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Pull up an order from your phone for Rush Order Tees, please. While you're looking at it, just tell me, how much did you pay for them from Rush Order Tees, and how many did you order?
It was just slightly over $2,000. I believe we ordered 110 T-shirts.
Okay. And you got them sometime in May?
Correct. I'm sorry, that was April 26th was the exact date.
May I see it, please?
There's my order.
It was 1828.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Okay, so Mr. and Mrs. Gallagher, she ordered the T-shirts within a couple of weeks and got them from another company, which suggests to me that if she picked up your T-shirts, she would not have done that. Do you understand?
I don't.
Do you understand?
No, I don't. Because if she
you
ordered
may not,
200...
you may not like it, but ladies may be, to you, abrasive, because that's what you say in here. She may be abrasive, but she would not ask for a refund through PayPal if she had picked up. If she had picked up the merchandise, she would not have done that.
The previous year she ordered 200, and this year she ordered 100 from me, 100 from them, which same is consistent, 200 shirts.
I can answer to that if you'd like.
She picked them up.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't.
We ordered a smaller quantity this year because many of our friends had already purchased them the previous year.
Whatever. I don't believe that you picked them up. I believe that you got angry because they weren't exactly what you wanted. You looked at them, but there's no question that it was an easy answer for him to give when PayPal called and said she picked them up from the reception area. Okay, and I don't believe that. So you have to get your refund back because you were dissatisfied and because you lied.
Claims business owners Ernie and Sonia Gallego owe for a refund on custom T-shirts. Ernie and Sonia are countersuing for defamation.
But that doesn't justify.
What?
We did do all the work. The printing is the very last part of the order. We did the graphic work. We printed samples. We went above and beyond to try to make her happy, and she was completely unreasonable. There was
listen, I said to you, she may be a completely unreasonable customer.
Right.
That's possible. Fortunately, I don't have to go into that because the reason your husband gave PayPal for not giving her a refund was because she took the merchandise. And I don't believe that. I believe she may have been, in your eyes, a totally unreasonable customer. And if your husband had said to PayPal, we were ready, willing, and able, we fulfilled our contract to the letter, and we could just not satisfy this lady. The merchandise is here, ready to be picked up. It was always ready to be picked up. He didn't. He told them she got it, and that was not true. And that, Miss Gallagher, is why she gets her refund back.
Her event was the day before. We were on a crucial deadline. We have our employees working overtime, getting her job done. We have receipts of all the items that were printed, that were ordered. She came in the day before her event, picked up what we had completed. I had completed approximately 72 shirts. She took one box out of 2 that day. She was going to come back for the rest. She left with what she had for her event. She even posted pictures on social media of our shirts.
Oh, that I would like to see. Did you pick up any boxes from him?
I picked up no boxes. And the event that he's referring to, my son has a race on the second Saturday of every month. I had asked for those shirts to be ready by his April race, but because they were not, I didn't have shirts for him until the March race. Every shirt that you see in my social media or my son's social media is the shirts that we purchased from Rush Order Tees.
I'd like to see.
This is our sample picture.
No, I want to see what.
Oh, here.
Is that one of the shirts that you prepared for
This
her?
is on her social media account. And then this is also just the graphic work that we did on her social media page.
Which
as well.
social media account?
I'll find out.
We know that's our shirts because I did the graphic design work. All the logos she gave me were like different colors. They were full color. They had black backgrounds. I revised, redrew everything, and converted them all to white.
Just 1 second.
I did the graphic work, and they're all in PNG form, so all you have to do is change them
If
to
she
white.
did the graphic work, then why would she pay us to do the graphic work?
And I have an email printout of the graphic she submitted to us. Is not print ready.
Oh, I don't care about that. I'm not getting into those weeds.
I have copies of all of the JPEGs.
According to you,
yes.
I'm going to go back. He said that there were 2 boxes ready.
There were 2 boxes ready.
There's 2 boxes ready, but that wasn't all the shirts.
There was
2 boxes. The 2 boxes were not all the shirts. How many shirts were in a box?
72.
So what you're telling me is that she picked up 72 shirts.
Yes.
Okay. Go back and tell me. Just refresh my recollection as to what he said about the 2 boxes of shirts. Or we had 2 boxes of shirts ready.
I didn't pick up a thing. They wouldn't even let me take a sample.
She took 1 box out of 2 that day. She was going to come back for the rest.
Were there only 2 boxes or were there more than 2 boxes?
2 boxes.
Did you tell PayPal that she did not take half of the merchandise?
I told PayPal that we filled 72 pieces when I talked to him on the phone.
That's not what PayPal said to her, sir. That's not what PayPal said.
I'm not sure what PayPal said to her.
PayPal said that the merchandise was delivered to you.
Exactly
and you did not
what?
return. And it was not returned. But that's not true.
Exactly what
Only
I'm
half-
testifying
if-
here
if
is
they
what
were-
I told
well,
PayPal.
Well, then why wouldn't PayPal say to her, look, we don't know what the dispute is all about, color and everything else, but you're entitled to half your deposit back if you told her you only delivered half the merchandise.
The thing is, 100% of the shirts, there's 3 locations, a front, back, and a sleeve.
Listen.
We have everything's 100%, the sleeves are done. The 72 were printed 100%. We just had 29 shirts remaining, 28 shirts remaining.
I don't believe you, Mr. Gallagher. She gets her deposit back. Now we're going to get to your counterclaim. Counterclaim is for $5,000 for defamation. So I'd like to see how she defamed you.
So Larissa posted a negative review on Yelp, which
She's allowed to do.
She's allowed to. However, she's not allowed to say that my husband lunged at her and was aggressive. That's a...
I'd like to see it.
Here you
And
go.
then I'll ask her about it.
And I've also included other reviews from other businesses that she's dealt with where it has the same MO. I spoke to another business owner.
Did Miss Gallagher call you on your cell phone the day afterwards to apologize for her husband's behavior?
She called me that afternoon.
On your cell phone?
I believe it was on my cell phone, yes.
And this happened on April 26th of 2022?
It happened on
No.
April 8th.
Okay, so that would be in your phone log.
Should be, if I still have it.
While she's looking, Miss Gallagher, after this incident, when she came in and had this acrimonious discussion with your husband, which is evidenced in this review, did you call Miss Ehlers? Did you call her?
I did call her.
Okay,
Yes, I
and
did.
that because that she can prove that you called her.
Yes.
Now, after this screaming match that she had with your husband, where she left your premises,
It wasn't
she
a
said
screaming
just
match. It
she said that you came down for whatever reason. I'm just asking you things that can be proven.
Right.
What can be proven is after she stormed out that day, you called her the next day. I want to know what you're claiming you said to her the next day.
I gave her a call to smooth the situation over.
Just tell me what you said to her the next day. Hello, it's me from $5 school tees. It's Sonia.
Okay.
What did you say to her? Be careful.
I don't remember word for word, but what I do remember saying is that I apologize for how everything played out.
Okay. Okay, because there was an incident between the plaintiff and your husband.
Yes.
And you came in. Did you say something to her?
Yeah, I did.
Don't.
I didn't want to talk to her.
No.
Dealers is accusing business owners Ernie and Sonia Gallego of ruining her custom t-shirt order. Ernie and Sonia say Larissa left a negative review and defamed them.
Okay, you came in the middle of the dispute.
Yes.
And in the middle of the dispute, to try to calm things down.
Yes.
Because she was screaming at him.
Yes.
And he was screaming at her.
No.
What was he saying to her? She was screaming at him, and what was he doing? Now, just remember, you called her the next day.
I did.
To apologize to her.
Not to her. I called to apologize for the entire situation from beginning
but
to
if
end.
what you're telling me is that the only one who was behaving badly was the plaintiff. That's what you're telling me. The only one that was behaving badly was the plaintiff.
She was out of line.
There's no question. There's no question. Actually, she acknowledges in this review.
But that's not the worst part of it.
She acknowledges in this review that she was out of line in screaming.
Yes.
And that's what you came into.
Yes.
So the only thing that you're disputing is that your husband was likewise screaming at her, answered her back.
He was not screaming. He was patient, and he was attempting to work it out with her. The only thing I remember him saying, and I can recall, is him saying, I'm trying to help you. I don't understand why you're acting this way. And I do recall him telling her that she was a bad person because she was...
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, a person can only take so much.
I'm telling you, she says this.
Yes.
In her review. Okay. Now, you want me to look at other reviews that she wrote for a carpet company in 2021.
Yes, and I spoke to the owner.
Shh. Okay, first she complained about a carpet company and the horrible service. They laughed at her and disrespected her. Okay. And then, that was in 2021. That was a year before. Then she posted a review, according to the timeline, in 2015. So 6 years before.
It shows a pattern.
No, a pattern.
Yeah,
a pattern. Three complaints. Three complaints from somebody who lives a life in 6 years.
I have a copy of all of the 5-star reviews.
Okay, and this one said the owner wasn't interested in hearing her complaints. It was over the phone and hung up. That's 2015. Okay, she takes her reviews seriously. Now, you want to show me other reviews?
These are all of the 5-star reviews that I've done as well. Yeah. I'm an equal opportunity Yelper.
Just a second. Would you just show this to the plaintiff and make sure she agrees that those are hers, and then I'm going to have you show this to the defendants. Okay. Now show this to Ms. Gallego. All you have to do is look at them quickly. Yeah. Well, no, just a second. Yeah. You didn't look at them.
Oh, I was reading. Okay.
You don't have to read the whole thing. These are 5-star reviews.
Yes.
Count how many she did.
Yes, I see that there's a good...
So she takes her reviews seriously. It's not a pattern.
Right, but she's aggressive in everyone. Like I mentioned...
No, not aggressive in here.
Well, not in those.
Not in
the negative
here.
Ones, yes.
Not in here, and 2 of the ones that you gave me were over the phone. If I told you how many times my husband hangs up on people over the phone aggressively...
I understand, but name-calling and belittling people and calling him...
retarded,
stupid.
Just a second. All unladylike.
She attacked my faith.
Oh, listen to me. That's not what you're talking about, Mr. Gallego. You're talking about a lawsuit for defamation, that she posted something that was false on the internet. And I'm telling you it wasn't false because I think you got into a screaming match with her, and I think that your wife intervened that day, which is why she called her the next day to try to smooth things over. This is not a tea dance. This is not a tea dance. You understand? This is not a tea dance. I believe that she did not pick up her shirts. I believe that that's why your wife called her to try to smooth out that, as well as what had happened the day before. She behaved badly.
You're allowing a
She
tyrant
behaved-
to get
she-
away with this.
I'm allowing a tyrant to get away with this?
She completely bashed us. She's lying. She picked
She
up her
wrote-
order.
she wrote- no, I don't believe that.
Your Honor, my reputation, I work with students, I work with teachers, moms. My reputation, I don't advertise.
Just a second.
It's all word of mouth.
She did not pick up her order, sir, even according to you. According to you, she only picked up a partial order. She picked up one box. That's according to you. That's not what PayPal.
72 out of 100.
No, I don't. Listen to me. So what you're saying is there were 2 boxes, not in half. The orders were not in half. You filled up one box and only there was a little bit of merchandise left in the
Supposed to
second
come back
box.
for, yes.
Yeah, I don't believe you, sir.
Because
she gets
she
a
needs to-
refund. She gets a refund. $16.93.
But what about
Judgment
all
for
the
the
work that
plaintiff.
we-
Counterclaims dismissed. We are done here.
This court is adjourned.
She completely dismissed the way she treated us.
She absolutely made the right decision.
I've never dealt with a customer like this in my 25-year history. I went well above and beyond.
They're angry with me because I didn't like their work product.
Our work speaks for itself. Our history speaks for itself. We have clients that have been with us for years, and we'll just continue doing what we're doing.
You always get what you pay for. Make sure you're looking out for where you're doing business.
I really believe that she got aggressive with him when she went to pick up those T-shirts. She acknowledges she got aggressive with him. She says in her Yelp review, sorry to say that she became angry and agitated and started screaming at him, which he doesn't have to tolerate. I do believe that his wife intervened, as she said in her Yelp review, that his wife came in saying to his wife, I'm talking to her, not to you. I can
Really
actually,
heated moment.
I can actually see
Visualize
him.
it.
I can actually visualize him saying that. The problem is you have to make a judgment. And the judgment really was whether somebody who was aggressive, and she was, who knows her business, knows what she wants, runs a business, had ordered the shirts before, had ordered them from somebody else, was satisfied with the previous order because there was no negative review that they showed from that order. She may have been dissatisfied. She may have had just cause to be dissatisfied. But he lied when she said she picked up the shirts.
Just to prevent her from getting a refund.
From getting her refund. So I didn't believe that because I don't think that that woman would have been here if she had picked up the shirts. She would have been here. She would have said, I want a refund because here are the shirts. It's not what I ordered.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense.
It's usually not true.
Her sister, Brandy Maida, for property damage, harassment, and lost work.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, everyone, please. Hello, Ken.
Case number 2006, Nelson versus Mata.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Nelson, this is your sister.
Yes.
How old are you?
I am 42, 43, almost 44.
Oh, so are you the only 2 sisters?
We have some half sisters, but yes.
But you're the only 2 full biological sisters. Now, there came a time, Miss Maida, that you moved into your sister's home.
Yes.
Is this a home that you own?
Yes, we built it.
In what year did you move into her home?
That would have been 2018.
Who else lives in the house from your family?
My disabled mother, my husband, and my child.
So your mother lives there?
Yes, I take care of my mom.
Tell me why you moved into your sister's basement, Miss Maida.
In 2015, my oldest son was in a tornado and suffered a severe brain injury. So when my sister Tiffany and her husband were looking for new houses, they offered to build an apartment in their basement so that we could live with them and get out of our mobile home. So when they built this house, it was built with the intention of us living in the basement.
Is that correct?
Yes, but for a year, because I do take care of my disabled mother, and the intention was for her to be in the basement eventually so that she doesn't have to use stairs.
Was the original agreement with your sister that it would not be a permanent move, but one that would last for about a year?
It was agreed that it was not a permanent. There was not a date set, though.
Okay, but it was agreed it was not a permanent, and you did not have a written lease?
Yes, we did. We do have a lease.
You did? I'd like to see it.
We had a month-to-month lease that I have as well. This is the current lease that subsides the other lease.
Okay, initially a month-to-month lease, and what month and year did you have her sign?
I have it right here. It's dated July 14th, 2018.
So this is a 6-month lease that ended January 31st?
Correct.
The rent was $800 a month?
Yes.
So this last lease was for your sister, her husband, and 2 children?
Correct.
I only ask that question because if my reading of your complaint was correct, you say that she moved her husband in without your consent.
So when we first agreed to let her move in 2018, she was divorcing, and the agreement was that her and her 2 sons could move into the home. He had nowhere to go, and she wanted him to move in. So because
in what year was that?
That was still 2018.
So that was still 2018?
Yeah, so we let,
All right, so
we
you
let him live there.
And since then, you'd signed different leases with her, with him on the property?
Correct.
Okay, so then you acquiesced to it. When you were in the apartment, did you have pets?
I did,
How many pets did you have?
4 dogs. But then subsequently, some had passed away, so at the end, we only had 2 dogs.
Okay, well, at the signing of this lease, you had 6 pets, consisting of cats, dogs, and no other pets being allowed.
Correct.
And you agreed, regardless of ownership of the pets, agreed to restore the property to its original condition at your expense when you leave. Okay, good, because that's also part of what this is about, actually, most of what this is about.
Your Honor, they had 3 pets upon move out. They had just gotten a puppy, so they did have 3 pets and 2 cats upon move out.
Doesn't matter. Anybody who has 6 pets, after 3 years, the carpet needs to be replaced.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, your sister began to move out when, in what month?
She moved out on the 1st of February, 2022.
Pursuant to your agreement?
Correct.
And it is your claim that she left the premises in condition that required you to spend close to $10,000 to put it back into shape?
$6,500.
Okay.
For the basement damages.
I'd like to see photographs of what it looked like, because we know it was brand new when you moved in, because the house was just
Those
built.
are all...
So we know that it's new.
I also have photographs that I took the day we moved out.
Okay. I'm going to give you these, and then I'm going to look at yours.
Okay.
Okay, so there's no question you have to replace the carpeting.
Right.
You understand that. Did you replace the carpeting?
No, I had not had any contact from her.
Do you have the bill for the carpeting?
I replaced 1 room already, and I have that, and then I have the estimate to replace the other carpet.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. And that's the main thing that I see in the apartment that has to be done from these photographs. Okay, did you leave a lot of food in the refrigerator and all kinds of stuff in the refrigerator?
No, so what happened was the refrigerator...
Just the answer is either yes or no. Did you leave a whole lot of stuff in the refrigerator?
No.
Anything in the freezer?
No, there was no freezer.
And cabinets, did you leave anything in the I'm just looking because there's a picture here of a whole bunch of food.
Right, I hadn't finished moving out.
My question,
but yes, there was
my
there.
question is, you were supposed to be out by February 1st. On February 1st, was there food in the house?
Yes.
Okay, and it should have been moved, whether you moved out yet or not. You were supposed to be out by February 1st. Okay, I'd like to see those. So you replaced the carpet in what room?
One of the bedrooms, so my mom could move down there so she could not use stairs.
Okay. Sarah, add these 2 figures and have them for me, please. And I don't know what this is a photograph of.
So the bags that were left in the home, there was ice cream that was left in those bags, and it had leaked on my flooring, and we moved it outside, and that is the rotted food from the bags.
Okay, do you know how that happened?
I don't. I haven't seen that.
Okay. May I see photographs, please, that you took on the day you moved out?
Yes.
I have that total, Judge. $4,129.
4,121?
29.
29.
And 21 cents.
Thank you. Is this after the carpet was taken out?
Yes.
Kevin, can I please see the photographs that she took? Actually, they're pretty much the same. Not terrible. A lot of it is ordinary wear and tear, except for the carpet. So that's $4,129. The only other thing that I'm questioning is that I saw these rocks, and I want somebody to explain these rocks to me.
So because of the water level, if you go out the downstairs patio, there's rocks there to prevent the yard from sliding.
Getting wet.
So some of the rocks were moved. They're supposed to all go in a line, and they go down and over. So we have to pay a landscaper to come out and basically redo that.
Well, how did that happen? Do you know?
They're pretty heavy rocks, so.
I don't know. Do you know?
don't know.
Did you move the rocks?
No, you would need like a skid loader to move those rocks. There's no physical way to move those.
Where do you live?
With one person.
I live in far west Utah, farm country.
Looks like there's water comes down through here.
Yes, we live across the street from a pond as well.
Well, you don't know how that happens. Now, you have, in addition to your claim, which is for damage, you feel it's necessary to go into these allegations of harassment by your sister?
I honestly just want to be done with her and not get threatening text messages and stuff on social media.
No chance of a reconciliation. You
Not
lived
on my
together
end.
for a while.
I've blocked her from
For a long time.
Yeah.
Miss Mehta, your sister was there at a time when you needed her.
Yes.
You think that there's any potential for the two of you to sort of restore some kind of working relationship? You're the only two?
No. This
No.
is the funeral of our relationship.
All right, not my job. That's a job for another professional. Okay, you have a counterclaim.
Yes.
And your counterclaim, just as she's not going into harassment, I'm not going into anything that involves the harassment. It is your claim that you left certain furniture behind. Well, why wasn't your furniture out on the 1st? Your lease expired at the end of the month in January.
It did. And I did let them know that I was not done.
Well, that's not a reason. That's not a reason to break your contract. Only 2 people can break a contract, Ms. Mehta. The 2 people are the same 2 people that signed it. You signed a contract that said you would be out on a certain date. You weren't out on a certain date. The fact that you notified her that you're changing the terms of the contract unless she agreed to it, then you should have had your stuff out by the 31st. Why didn't you?
Because she had made it very difficult during my moving process. There was a lot of, like I said, harassment and stuff that happened during that moving process. She called the police on the people that were helping me. She made it very difficult to get it done. There was no way that I could get it done on that day.
Let's get back to call the police.
And later today, Tiffany Nelson claims her sister, Brandy Mehta, owes for property damage after living in her basement. Brandy is countersuing for the return of her belongings.
Who did you have moving you?
I had my best friend, Brittany, was helping me.
Does Brittany and your sister have any negative history?
They do.
Okay. Well, if they have any negative history, why would you have her come into the house?
Because she doesn't have any access to Tiffany at that point. There was no reason for them to talk. They wouldn't be even associating.
You know, if I knew that there were issues between my landlord and a particular person, especially if my landlord was my sister who let me move into her house, just from a question of using my brain, I wouldn't bring somebody that had been on the outs with them. If they didn't like them, that's one thing. You know, I'm really not crazy about your friend Brittany. That's one thing. But if you knew that there was an active, aggressive feeling against one or the other, you should have had somebody else move. So why didn't you get your stuff out?
Well, so I didn't think that it was as serious as that. They are related.
If they're related and don't like each other, or the plaintiff doesn't like her, then that's even worse. Go ahead.
Yeah, so she was my only help. I didn't have anybody to help me at that time. So.
Then start doing it sooner. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was the only reason.
Miss Mehta, where was your husband?
He was working. We were working during this whole time.
Well, that's okay. I've moved and worked. I used to move every time I needed a paint job. I would pack up and move, and I constantly worked. I've worked for 58 years. So that's not a reason. You pack in the evening. You go down after work, you get newspaper from the grocery store, and you get old cartons, and you wrap up the dishes and the cartons, and you manage to get out when you're supposed to get out. And she's not the only one who can help you. Maybe your husband has friends. If he doesn't have friends, I don't know why not. And in any event, that was not a smart thing for you to bring your witness. Furniture. What furniture did you leave?
I left patio set on the patio. It was all outside furniture.
Patio set.
You're on
just a second.
A lawnmower.
Okay.
Outside bench that had storage and stuff.
Yeah.
Fire pit and lawn chairs.
Okay. And when did you buy the lawn chairs?
It would have been 2018.
Okay. And how much did you pay for each one?
They were $245 for the chaise lounges and $159 for the pool dining chairs.
Okay. Are those chairs at your home?
Yes.
May I see them?
Yes. There's 4 lawn chairs. There was never the long chair.
Let me see what's in the home.
I also had a cooler.
Just a second. Don't bother me about a cooler. Are the lawn chairs still there?
Yes.
Great. You can go get them.
Okay.
With a marshal, not with her. What about the fire pit?
Still there.
You can pick up the fire pit. What about the lawnmower?
Still there.
Patio set?
Still there.
They have painted that purple.
Painted back. Where are you living now?
I have a house.
Who are you living there with?
With my husband and my sister-in-law.
She's living with you? Mm-hmm. She's paying, it's not an answer, yes.
Yes.
She's paying you rent?
No.
Why not?
My husband's their mother passed away, and she needed to be closer to family, so she's just living with us as family.
Okay, you're going to get all the property back that you say you left there. And you can do that within 5 days on notice to the plaintiff with a marshal. Just give him a copy of the order that will give you inside.
Okay.
With regard to the renovation of the house, she has to put the house in reasonable condition. Most of these other pictures demonstrate some wear and tear that you would have to do. Painting and plastering after 3.5 years, but the carpeting had to be replaced, $4,129. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. We're finished.
This court is adjourned.
I'm happy with her decision. I just wanted to fix my basement and move on with my life.
I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing to do. You know, I think we were both at fault.
Go back home, fix my house, and honestly have nothing to do with her again.
If she had come and talked to me like a normal person, we could have figured this out without this.
No, I'm completely done.
I would like to not be inappropriate, but she's just not a...
I think that the two sisters had the best of intentions. Didn't you get that feeling?
I did. From moving in and knowing you have a designated place at a time of need, that she was going to design the basement for you to live in, although not permanently, I thought it was going to go in a good direction.
And I'm sure that the plaintiff's mother, who lives with her, is sad that she doesn't get to see her other daughter probably as frequently as she would like, because they live together in the same home, evidently, for a very long time.
Yeah.
Very bad. There's always collateral damage when people don't get along.
True.
Case number 2039, Mormon versus Strauss. All party, please step forward.
Derek Mormon is suing his former friend, Sherry Strauss, for car repairs and harassment.
Mr. Mormon, the defendant was a friend of yours.
Yes, ma'am.
A casual friend, a romantic friend?
Maybe both, a casual romantic friend.
How long do you know her?
14 years at least, probably closer to 15, yeah.
Were you ever together as a couple?
No, ma'am.
And it is your claim that because she was in financial trouble, you extended a loan to her to fix her car.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what this case is about. You also say she harassed you, but most of this case is about the loans to fix her car. Ms. Strauss says that you did, in fact, work on her car, but you caused more damage to it than it originally had, and she is counterclaiming for car repairs that she has to make because of work that you did on the car. Who is this person?
My fiance.
Okay, he's not a mechanic.
No.
And who is the woman?
She is the property manager of the motel that I'm living in.
So you don't have a mechanic to testify today to anything?
No, I do have...
The answer is no.
No, but I do have an estimate.
I don't care about an estimate. Okay, so I would like you to tell me, Ms. Strauss, when did you start to have trouble with your car?
March 2nd of 2022.
And where were you living at the time?
I had just moved into the motel.
Had you been spending any time with Mr. Mormon?
Previous to that, no.
Previous to March of 2022?
That's correct.
After March of 2022, did you spend any time with Mr. Mormon?
I did, yes.
Did you stay at his home?
I went there occasionally, yes.
No, but I'm asking, did you stay over at his home?
Yes.
Okay. And when you started to have trouble with the car in March, when you hadn't been staying at Mr. Mormon's house, did you call him and let him know you were having trouble with your car?
I did as a friend, yes.
And what did you say to him, and what did he say to you?
I just told him I dropped my son off at his taekwondo, and we were trying to leave, and my car was not working.
And what did he say to you?
That he will come and help me.
And help you?
Yeah.
That was on March 2nd?
That was on March 2nd, yes.
And did he come to the motel where you were staying?
No, he did not.
Well, how did he come and help you with the car?
Because my car was at my son's taekwondo, so he went there.
He came to where you were? And did he take your car someplace?
Not on that day, no.
What did he do on that day?
On that day, he took me and my son home.
So that was March 2nd. Keep going. March 2nd, March 3rd.
And then on March 3rd, we ended up having my car taken over to O'Reilly's. Well, we got a battery.
How much was it?
It was $167.
Who paid for it?
I did.
So then you were driving it again? It's not,
Yes, correct.
Okay. And when was the next time there was difficulty with the car?
Then the next time was March 7th. It died again.
So on March 7th, the car died again? And what did you do?
Then on March 7th, I called him and told him that something's wrong with my car again. Now it's not starting again.
Okay. And tell me why you called him.
Because as a good friend, like I said, we've been friends for 15 years. As it is, I don't ask anybody for help. I usually try to do everything on my own. But,
Okay, so you called him and said the car died again?
Yep, but he had made it known that he was knowledgeable about cars, so I figured that maybe he would know what was going on.
You know who else is knowledgeable? Mechanics.
Derek Mormon says his former friend Sherry Strauss owes for car repairs. Sherry is countersuing, claiming Derek damaged her car, trying to fix it.
Okay, so on the 7th, you called him again and said, I'm having trouble. What did he do?
Then on the 7th, I had to go to work, so I had another friend take me to work. He came and picked me up from work, and we took my car back over to O'Reilly's, took the battery out, had them test it. The battery had been drained. Figured it was the alternator, got the alternator. He put the alternator in.
Who paid for all of these repairs? That's what it's about. That's
I
what
paid
this case
for
is.
them.
So what is he suing for?
Because later on, my brakes and rotors went out and I got a flat tire. So at that time, yes, I did call him and let him know.
On what date was that?
That was on April 16th of 2022.
Okay. Well, right now it's gone on the fritz on the 2nd, the 7th, and April 16th. So that's a lot of aggravation. So on April 16th fiasco with the car and the repairs, how much was that?
$234.
Who paid for that?
He said that he would pay for it. He originally told me that his mechanic would allow me to make payments. And when we went to go pick it up on April 22nd, found out that that was not the case.
Okay, so he wasn't going to allow you to make payments,
No.
which mechanics usually don't. So how much was the bill?
So the bill was $567.91.
And he paid for that because they wouldn't let you make payments?
He paid for that because he knew I was...
No,
not
he knew. You were originally going to pay for that and make payments.
Yeah, I was
Just a
gonna make
second.
payments.
You were originally going to pay for it and make payments. You found out that you couldn't make payments, so he said, fine, I will make the full payment to the mechanic.
Yeah.
But it was always your intention to pay for the repairs of the car, only you wanted to pay for it in a slower fashion.
Right, I was going to make the payments to the mechanic, yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, did you pay him back any of the $567?
I gave him $300 to help him with rent, but
Just a second. Tell me when you gave him $300 for rent.
I gave him the $300 on April 29th.
That was after you picked up the car. Is not an answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Did she give you $300 for rent?
No, Your Honor, I don't need anybody to help me pay my rent.
Do you have any proof that you gave him $300 for rent, a withdrawal from a bank or anything?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
Okay, so far you owe $567. Is that what you paid for her in April?
No, Your Honor, I paid $674.76.
May I see it, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, April 18th. $674. Would you show this to Ms. Strauss? Okay. Mr. Mormon?
Yes, Your Honor.
There subsequently came a time, which I think probably was a more social issue than anything else, when the defendant advised...
I have a different one that shows
May I
the receipt right there.
May I see it?
The $567.91.
Well, I actually am not understanding this. He paid for this with his Visa card. Is that right?
That's correct.
Could you explain this to me? This is your Visa card. This is the same invoice. One of them is for $567.91, and the one that you gave me, the same invoice number, is $674.76. Sarah, would you do me a favor, please?
Sure.
Would you add up?
From both or just the top one?
Well, let's start with just the top one, for which there is a Visa receipt. So I gather that all this became problematic when you started to see a serious boyfriend. Is that right?
That's correct.
Now, after March, you said you stayed occasionally at Mr. Mormon's. When you stayed at Mr. Mormon's, was that more of a social? I mean, was it a more intimate relationship than just social friends? This was after March, after you were in the motel.
We were kind of like friends with, benefits in a way, so
Okay.
yeah.
All right, and then you found someone new, and according to him, you advised him that you had somebody new, and now he wants the money for the car, which you were going to pay anyway. You were going to
Originally,
pay
I
it.
figured it was a friend helping a friend. I didn't
No,
think of
it
it as a
wasn't.
loan.
No. It wasn't. Even you say, Ms. Strauss, it was your intention to pay this bill for your car as you would pay the other bills for your car. However, when you got there, you found you couldn't make time payments. So he said, well, you need a car. I'll lay it out up front. But it was always your intention to pay for your own car. Do we have a...
That is the correct number. And then at the bottom, that totals. and then the additional to bring you to 567 is the tax.
Okay. Now, so the next part of your case is about harassment. By whom and for what?
Your Honor, after Mr. Martinez got into the picture.
That's this gentleman.
Yes, ma'am. He was a man of his word, and he was going to pay me not to talk to Sherry any longer, which I didn't.
Okay, so you had a discussion with him that all of her bills he was going to take care of?
Many discussions, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And?
I never got a dime.
Okay, well, what is the harassment?
Text messages, my witness here, Miss Montoya.
No, just a second.
Okay.
Text messages what?
Just saying, hey, leave her alone, which is fine.
Okay, that's all right. That's not harassment.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, fine.
But it was, hey, I'm going to pay you. I'm a man of my word.
Okay, well, that you're not
Where's my
suing him,
money?
so who cares about that?
Yeah.
He owes you $567. That's what you put on your visa. Now, let's get to your money owed for car repairs and harassment. Okay. Now, you don't have a mechanic here, so what your claim is that whatever he did to the car, he didn't do well, so you had to take the car, or you're going to have to take the car to another mechanic. I don't care. You would plan to fix this car yourself. The problem was with payments. If you had to make additional repairs to the car, that's not his problem. Okay, now you want to tell me what the additional harassment is?
Well, that's why I have my two witnesses here. He spent a lot of time calling me names. He's called my fiance names. He showed up at my motel threatening and stuff like that. So
What did he want?
he wanted his money, but at one point
Now he's got his. Now he's got it. I don't need to speak to you.
No, but
now he's got his money.
When I had talked to him before, when he thought that David and I was not together anymore, he said, "Oh, it's not about the money." He goes, "I just want you." He's got several messages from me how he loves me, he wants to be with me, and all this and that.
Yeah, but you don't love him and you don't want to be with him, so now you have to pay him for your car repairs. $567.
Yeah.
Judgment for the plaintiff.
Well-
We're finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This court is adjourned.
Hey, justice was served, and that's all that matters.
It was about because he didn't have me. I went with somebody else, and I wasn't with him.
She was a friend, and I tried to help her out.
We've been friends for a long time, so I told him we would be, that I wanted to be his friend.
I ain't going to help, I can tell you that.
I want to continue the friendship, and he didn't want that.
No, never again on her, no.
Time to find another mechanic.
So I really didn't have so much trouble with that case because the defendant had really planned on paying for her car repairs. Do I think that the guy said to her, you can make payments, and when she got there, he said, no, who knows? It's not worth it.
Yeah.
He felt used.
Which I think is valid.
Which, give somebody money, and then you've had sort of a friends with benefits relationship, and all of a sudden you got somebody new, and you're driving around in a car that you paid to repair. Anyway, it was simple.
So, hello everyone, welcome back to YouTube Automation Mastery Program. आज की इस वीडियो में हम बात करने लगे हैं स्क्रिप्ट राइटिंग इन ट्रेडिशनल YouTube ऑटोमेशन। आप लोगों ने इससे पहले स्क्रिप्ट राइटिंग पे कुछ वीडियोस देखी होंगी। सबसे पहले हमने मॉड्यूल 6 में जनरलाइज्ड बात की। इन 4 वीडियोस में हमने डिटेल से स्क्रिप्ट राइटिंग को समझा, इनके टूल्स को समझा, किस तरह से चैट जीपीटी 4, चैट जीपीटी 3 इनको हम कैसे यूज़ कर सकते हैं। फिर हम अपने कंपेटिटर्स का स्क्रिप्ट किस तरह से रीराइट कर सकते हैं, किस तरह से हम एक रेफरेंस स्क्रिप्ट को यूज़ करके दोबारा से एक नया स्क्रिप्ट लिख सकते हैं। ये सारी बातें बड़ी डिटेल से हुई। एक वीडियो में मैंने आपको चीज़ें समझाई और इन 3 वीडियोज़ में हमारे साथ अमार मौजूद थे जिन्होंने आपको बड़ी चीज़ डिटेल से समझाई। फिर आपने देखा होगा कि यहाँ पे तो तकरीबन जनरलाइज बात होगी, हर तरीके से बात होगी, लेकिन जब हम YouTube सर्च ऑटोमेशन की इस वीडियो में आए स्क्रिप्ट राइटिंग इन सर्च ऑटोमेशन, तो यहाँ पे चीज़ें थोड़ी सी प्रिसाइज थी। यहाँ पे हम चीज़ों को थोड़ा सा लाइट ले रहे थे बिकॉज वी वर डूइंग सर्च ऑटोमेशन। सर्च ऑटोमेशन इज ऑल अबाउट क्वांटिटी रादर देन क्वालिटी। बट आप यहाँ पे इस कैच को समझ लें कि अभी हम स्क्रिप्ट राइटिंग करने जा रहे हैं ट्रेडिशनल YouTube ऑटोमेशन में, एंड दिस इज ऑल अबाउट क्वालिटी क्वालिटी क्वालिटी। हम चाहते हैं कि यहाँ पे हमारी वीडियोस वायरल जाएं, और आपको मैंने समझाया था कि वीडियोस वायरल कैसे जाती हैं। वीडियोस वायरल जाती हैं जब आपका CTR अच्छा होता है, जब आपका एवरेज व्यू ड्यूरेशन अच्छा होता है। अब CTR चलें वो छोड़ दें, टाइटल सिलेक्शन की हमने बात कर ली, टाइटल अच्छा होगा, थंबनेल अच्छा होगा तो CTR तो अच्छा हो ही जाएगा, लेकिन एवरेज व्यू ड्यूरेशन किस तरह से बढ़ाया जाता है। एवरेज व्यू ड्यूरेशन के लिए आपका स्क्रिप्ट बहुत ज़्यादा मैटर कर रहा होता है। किस तरह से आप अपनी वीडियो में अपने यूज़र को, अपने व्यूअर को इंगेज करके चल रहे हैं, किस तरह से आपने एक ऐसी हुक बनाई है जिसकी वजह से आपकी वीडियो वीडियो को आपका यूजर या व्यूअर एंड तक देखेगा तो ये सारी चीजें स्क्रिप्ट में ही कवर की जाती हैं। तो यहाँ पे जब स्क्रिप्ट राइटिंग की बात होगी देन इट्स ऑल अबाउट क्वालिटी क्वालिटी क्वालिटी। सो टूल्स एंड मेथड्स एंड ट्रिक्स वही रहने वाले हैं जो हमने पहले डिस्कस किए थे, लेकिन मैंने आपको जैसे YouTube सर्च ऑटोमेशन में थोड़ी सी एक रिलैक्सेशन दी थी, वो रिलैक्सेशन आपको यहाँ पे बिल्कुल भी नहीं मिलने वाली। जो पीछे सारी बातें हुई हैं मॉड्यूल 6 में वो सारी यहाँ पे इंप्लीमेंट होंगी। इंतहाई अच्छे तरीके से आप एक स्क्रिप्ट लिखेंगे, जितना पावरफुल आपका स्क्रिप्ट होगा उतनी इंगेजमेंट आएगी, उतना AVD इंक्रीज करेगा, यानी कि एवरेज व्यू ड्यूरेशन, उतने व्यूज आएंगे और उतना हमारा रेवेन्यू बनेगा। सो ये जो मैंने टूल्स बताए हैं चैट GPT, गूगल बार्ड, परप्लेक्सिटी, ये सारे आप यूज कर सकते हैं फॉर ट्रेडिशनल यूट्यूब ऑटोमेशन। जो यहाँ पे मैंने आपको बताया था कि यूज यूट्यूब सर्च बार, ऊपर हमने देखा था हाँ यूट्यूब की वीडियो के स्क्रिप्ट, सॉरी, तो ये हम यहाँ पे यूज नहीं करेंगे। अदर देन डैट ऑलमोस्ट सारी चीजें ही, बल्कि ब्लॉग और आर्टिकल्स भी नहीं यूज करेंगे। उसके अलावा जो चैट GPT है, गूगल बार्ड है, परप्लेक्सिटी है, स्क्रिप्ट राइटिंग, ब्लॉग राइटिंग टूल्स हैं, ब्लॉग राइटिंग को छोड़ दें, स्क्रिप्ट राइटिंग जो टूल्स हैं वो आप यहाँ पे यूज़ करेंगे। और आप यहाँ पे कोशिश ये करें कि अगर अच्छा स्क्रिप्ट राइटर हायर कर सकते हैं लोकली तो ये तो सबसे बेहतरीन ऑप्शन है। अल्टीमेटली इससे अच्छी ऑप्शन हमारे पास कोई भी नहीं है। सो अगेन मैं आपको यहाँ पे दोबारा से तो स्क्रिप्ट्स लिखना नहीं सिखाऊंगा बिकॉज दैट इज ऑलरेडी कवर्ड इन आवर कोर्स। मैं आपको इस फ्रेमवर्क की सिर्फ स्ट्रेटेजी को बता रहा हूँ कि यहाँ पे क्वालिटी बहुत ज़्यादा मैटर करती है। यहाँ पे एक स्क्रिप्ट राइटर हायर हो जाए तो वही ज़्यादा बेहतर है, वही ज़्यादा प्रोफेशनल लगेगा, उसी को पता है कि किस तरह से मैंने इंगेजमेंट को लेके चलना है। आप यहाँ पे खुद से अगर आपने कभी कोई स्क्रिप्ट नहीं लिखा तो आप ना कोशिश कीजिएगा, क्योंकि यहाँ पे वीडियोस को वायरल लेके जाने का मामला है और आप अगर एक बिगनर हैं तो आपके लिए एक वीडियो को वायरल लेके जाना बहुत मुश्किल होगा। आई विल रिकमेंड कि आप इन चारों वीडियोस को बहुत गौर से देखें और ख़ास तौर पे इन 3 वीडियोस को बहुत ज़्यादा गौर से देखें अगर आपने ट्रेडिशनल यूट्यूब ऑटोमेशन पे काम करना है और आपने अपनी वीडियोस को वायरल लेके जाना है। सो दैट्स ऑल फॉर दिस मॉड्यूल्स स्क्रिप्ट राइटिंग। मिलते हैं इंशाल्लाह अगली वीडियो में, तब तक के लिए बेस्ट ऑफ लक।